The Throne of the Mechas. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 1776 Underground Giant. Will it work? Xia Xingchen smiled coldly, and the faith mecha leaped up and broke through the elevator directly along the elevator corridor and rose to the elevator in trance above. Fire! Fire! The noisy shouts of the elder gods came from outside the elevator. Boom boom boom. Countless death rays pierced the steel elevator door, sparks flew, and smoke filled the air. Where is the enemy? Is he dead? Should he be dead? After a round of shooting, there was no movement in the elevator, and several elder gods couldn't help whispering. Whoosh! A silver light suddenly flew out of the smoke and hit an elder god standing in the front. The elder god was wearing thick armor, but it was completely useless. He flew backwards for dozens of meters and was nailed to the wall by the silver light. His limbs twitched for a while and he died. The elder gods widened their eyes and opened their mouths and were shocked to find that the silver light that nailed the elder god to the wall was actually a drill. Bang! Heavy footsteps were heard at the elevator in trance. A mecha that was more than 10 meters high slowly emerged from the smoke, with hundreds of silver drills floating behind it. Gulp! The whole place was silent, with only the sound of swallowing saliva. Whoosh! 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 The sharp sound of breaking through the air suddenly sounded. In a blink of an eye, the ground was full of corpses. In the Elder Research Institute, red lights flashed, alarms wailed, and the Elder Celestials were panicked and in chaos. Don't kill me. I'm just a researcher. An Elder Celestial fell at the feet of the Faith Mecha and begged bitterly. Researcher? What is your research topic? Xia Xingchen looked coldly at the Elder Celestial in front of him in a white robe. Yes, the Elder Celestial was about to speak, but the corner of his mouth suddenly pulled, revealing a weird smile, and his body suddenly turned into grey crystals. This is the seventh one. Xia Xingchen frowned. In the institute, in addition to the guards responsible for security, there are also many researchers. But whenever Xia Xingchen pressed the elder about their research projects, the researcher's body would suddenly turn into grey crystals. Another trick of the soul oath. Xia Xingchen clenched his fists. In order to protect the secrets of the institute, the elder not only killed a large number of hobbits, but they also planted the soul oath on the researchers. Once they wanted to tell the truth, the oath would be triggered, and they would die instantly. The elder were cruel to other races, and to their own people. What secret is it that makes the elder so cautious? I must find out. Xia Xingchen thought to himself. Xia Xingchen drove the faith mech and slaughtered all the way. Wherever he went, all the elder celestial beings were killed. The elder celestial beings had no blood. After death, their bodies exploded and turned into blue light. The walls and ceiling of the passage behind Xia Xingchen were all dyed blue. Boom. The faith mech broke through a wall and broke into the core area of the institute. The moment it broke into this area, all the lights went out and the room was pitch black. A beam of light fell from above and shone on a figure. Pa, pa, pa. The man smiled, clapped his hands, and walked towards Xia Xingchen step by step. Abel. Xia Xingchen's pupils suddenly shrank, and he was shocked to find that this man was Abel, the leader of the spirit race. He was not dead. Abel, you are still alive. Xia Xingchen looked at Abel and said coldly. No, I'm indeed dead. Abel smiled coldly, staring at Xia Xingchen, his eyes full of hatred. But, I'm resurrected again. Although I paid a lot of price, I'm still resurrected. In order to kill you, I came back from hell. Resurrection? Xia Xingchen frowned slightly, feeling unbelievable. Even a cosmic level strongman cannot die and come back to life at will. Unless Abel has mastered the cosmic secrets of life and death. Life and death are the 9 mysteries of the universe. The holy place that controls life and death is a legendary reincarnation cemetery, which is as famous as the Space-Time Academy. The existence of the reincarnation cemetery is more obscure than the Space-Time Academy. There are even many researchers who believe that the reincarnation cemetery does not exist at all. Of course, this is just Xia Xingchen's guess. Abel may have nothing to do with the reincarnation cemetery. Of course, if there is any relationship, things will become very difficult. Abel, if I can kill you once, I can kill you a second time. It's useless for you to resurrect several times. Xia Xingchen looked at Abel coldly. That's right, I'm not your opponent. Abel sneered. Don't you want to know what our elder are doing? Why have we killed 8 trillion lives in 2 years? I can tell you. Abel waved his hand, and the surrounding walls suddenly glowed and turned into countless display screens. On the display screen, the scene of the entire Demon Vine Star was revealed. In addition to the Demon Vine Star, there are thousands of planets under surveillance. Abel smiled coldly, and a silver ball appeared in his palm. He crushed the ball without any hesitation. In the research institute, the remaining elder celestial beings suddenly stopped at this moment, and then all turned into grey crystals and dissipated in the wind. Not only in the research institute, on the Demon Vine Star, many elder celestial beings who kidnapped the hobbits also turned into grey crystals at this moment. Boom. The spaceship fell from the sky, exploded on the ground, and turned into a raging fireball. The captured hobbits broke free from the big net. Each of them was confused, not knowing what happened. On the entire Magic Vine Star, tens of thousands of Elder died at the same moment. The same fate as the Elder fleets in the universe. Not only on the Magic Vine Star, but all the Elder on the thousands of planets on the display screen died at the same time. Abel, what did you do? Xia Xingchen looked at Abel, his voice trembling slightly. What did you do? The Elder died? All dead. Abel smiled coldly. That's right. All dead. From today on, the Elder will completely disappear from the universe. Why? Why did you do this? Xia Xingchen was completely confused. Abel's behavior was completely unreasonable. Although the Elder disappeared, a new race will rise. A great super race that surpasses the top 10. And I'm the first person of this new race. Abel laughed loudly. Boom. The earth shook. The entire institute collapsed, burying the sins of the Elder forever underground. Xia Xingchen flew into the air in his mecha, looking at the collapsed institute. A terrifying energy wave came from below. An extremely huge body crawled out of the ruins. Although only the upper body was there, it was nearly 10,000 meters tall. It was a huge giant. The giant's body was blue all over, and his skin was translucent. Through the skin, you could see a little starlight in his body, as if there was a galaxy hidden inside. Chapter 1777 Spiritual Symbiont. A huge blue translucent giant emerged from the ground. The height of the upper body alone exceeded the highest peak of the Demon Vine Star. The giant opened its mouth, which was pitch black inside, and made an indistinct, but terrifying sound that changed the color of the world. Xia Xingchen was flying in the sky in the Faith Mech, watching this scene in shock. Hearing the terrifying sound coming from the giant's mouth, Xia Xingchen's eyes went dark, and he felt dizzy, and lost consciousness for a short time. Although it was only a few seconds, when Xia Xingchen woke up, he found that the Faith Mech was head first, and falling rapidly downwards, less than 500 meters from the ground. Xia Xingchen hurriedly pushed the joystick, and the Faith Mech crossed a 90-degree right angle and barely stopped in the air, converting the potential energy of the fall into horizontal kinetic energy, gliding forward for nearly 1,000 meters, and then began to climb slowly. Xia Xingchen was still in shock, looking at the giant standing in front of him, his face full of shock. You know, Xia Xingchen is already a black hole level universe powerhouse. Even if he encounters a universe level top existence, even if he is not his opponent, he has a great chance of escaping. But the giant just made a sound, and Xia Xingchen fainted. It was really unbelievable, and completely beyond his understanding. What on earth is this giant? I can feel that his body is full of violent and terrifying power. Xia Xingchen stared at the giant with wide eyes, staying 100 kilometers away, not daring to get closer. Demon Vine Star. Thousands of hobbits, like ants, followed Sang Mu, and climbed to the top of the mountain. Where is the god? Sang Mu. Didn't you say that, if you climb to the top, you can see the heroic figure of the god in battle? The hobbits all looked at Sang Mu, and asked one by one. Why are you in such a hurry? Although Sang Mu was young, he was very smart. He knew that Xia Xingchen would definitely fight with the spirit race. This level of battle could not end hastily without any signs. Either the rumble of an explosion, or a strong flash between heaven and earth. Even the earth was torn apart, the sky collapsed, and the earth collapsed. In short, Sangmu was very confident that, as long as he waited on the top of the mountain, he would definitely see something unusual. Rumble. As expected, a violent explosion was heard in the distance. I heard it. I heard it. That's the direction of the demon cave. In order to save us, the gods are fighting the demon gods in the demon cave. What a violent explosion. The gods are really powerful. The eyes of the hobbits were full of admiration. Then, something even more shocking happened to the hobbits. The spaceships of the elder celestial beings fell from the sky one by one, turned into fireballs on the ground, and burned fiercely. The elder celestial beings who captured the hobbits also turned into grey crystals in an instant. The hobbits didn't understand why, and thought that it was the gods who showed their great power to save them. God is really a god. All the elder turned into ashes. What a terrifying power. Great God. The hobbits will worship you from generation to generation. On the top of the mountain, the hobbits knelt down in groups and kept bowing their heads towards the place where the explosion came from. If some hobbits had doubts about Xia Xingchen before, at this moment, the doubts of the hobbits have disappeared, and all the hobbits sincerely worship Xia Xingchen and regard him as a god. At this time, the earth trembled, a major earthquake occurred, the mountain collapsed, and even a huge gully appeared on the top of the mountain. A huge blue giant, half of its body straightened up from the ground. All the hobbits were stunned. The devil. It's the devil. The crazy hobbit who pointed at the giant in the distance and howled heartbreakingly. Then, he covered his face with his hands and burst into tears. It's over. The devil has come. We are all going to die. All the hobbits will perish. What nonsense. There are gods. The devil is no match. We have the protection of gods. What is a devil? However, other hobbits sneered at Tihu's words. They have almost blind confidence in Xia Xingchen. In the hearts of the hobbits, Xia Xingchen is omnipotent. Above the research institute, the last elder, Abel, stood on the giant's shoulder with a sneer on his face. His eyes were fixed on Xia Xingchen, and he said sarcastically, Xia Xingchen, aren't you very powerful? Didn't you cut off the evolution of our elder race and want to destroy us? Aren't you relying on the backing of the Spacetime Academy to investigate our elder race? Come on, come here. Xia Xingchen turned a deaf ear to Abel's provocation. He carefully kept a distance from the giant, looked at Abel coldly, and asked, what is this giant? I can feel that, although his energy is huge, his mental fluctuations are very chaotic. He is not a natural life form, but a man-made creation. What do you know? Abel snorted coldly, his eyes full of fanaticism. At this point, I don't need to hide it anymore. 2 years ago, an expedition team of the Elder went to explore the secrets of the universe and accidentally found a prehistoric relic. In the relic, we got a technology, the technology to create gods. You heard it right, not some black hole level, cosmic level celestial being. It's a super life that completely surpasses celestial beings and is above them. God. This life form is different from any known creature in the universe. He is perfect and complements the defects of all life. Nothing in the universe is perfect. Xia Xingchen shook his head and whispered, except God. Abel said, and the one standing in front of you is God. He is a pure spiritual life. All the spiritual power of our elder merged together and turned into this God. Individuals of our elder disappeared from the universe, but the race continued in another form, a higher level life form that is immortal and everlasting. Spiritual symbiont. Xia Xingchen's body suddenly shook when he heard Abel's explanation. He had read relevant information about spiritual symbionts in the library of the Spacetime Academy. Spiritual life can be regarded as an alien in the universe. Its evolutionary path is completely different from that of other races and can be roughly divided into 3 stages. In the first stage, spiritual life has not completely abandoned the body, but its spiritual talent exceeds that of other races. The body is relatively weak, the technology is backward, but the spiritual practice is very advanced. In the Earth era, humans also experienced a similar era. The practitioners on Earth are called monks. Their goal is to become immortals, and the manifestation of becoming an immortal is corpse transformation, which is the so-called abandonment of the body and the soul leaving the body. The second stage is the existence of pure spiritual bodies, which is the life form of the spirit race. The third stage only exists in records. It is spiritual symbionts. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1778, Desperate. All the pure spirits of the entire race gave up their individual consciousness and merged together to form a huge life form. A race is an independent life. This kind of spiritual symbiont is very similar to planetary consciousness. However, planetary consciousness is formed naturally, and spiritual symbionts are the result of race evolution and artificial selection. In a sense, spiritual symbionts do transcend the existence of cosmic heavenly beings, and are qualified to be called gods. Although it is the lowest level of god, it is still a god, and it has the basic characteristics of a god. That is, it has an extremely long lifespan, the same lifespan as the heaven and the earth, and even on the day when the universe dies, the spiritual symbiont will die with the universe. It is recorded in the library of the Spacetime Academy. In the extremely distant past, there were many spiritual symbionts, and there were thousands of them in the entire universe. But I don't know what happened. These spiritual symbionts slowly lost news and faded out of the public eye. Maybe they evolved again and became a higher life form, or they fell and decomposed into pure cosmic energy. In any case, if what Abel said is true, the huge blue giant in front of him is a spiritual symbiont, then it is a terrifying existence beyond the universe. This also explains why Xia Xingchen lost consciousness and fell from the sky as soon as he heard the giant's voice, almost causing a tragedy. No wonder all the elders turned into grey crystals, and a strange smile appeared on their mouths. They all knew that they were not dead, but merged into the giant's body and evolved into a high life form. The mysteries in Xia Xingchen's mind were solved one by one. But what about the hobbits? What about the 8 trillion intelligent lives on the 3 major galaxies and thousands of planets in the Elder's territory? What does your elder evolution into a spiritual symbiont have to do with them? Why slaughter so many lives? 8 trillion. At least 8 trillion lives died. Xia Xingchen's face was full of grief, and he said in pain, 8 trillion lives? What kind of lives are bugs like hobbits? Abel sneered. Why slaughter them? You are wrong. It's not slaughter. They have become part of God. They should feel honored. If it weren't for us, the elder, bugs like hobbits, they would not be able to evolve a decent civilization until the day the universe perishes. Becoming a part of God, I understand. After hearing Abel's words, Xia Xingchen's face changed, and he suddenly realized the elder celestials have acquired the technology to become spiritual symbionts. However, the elder civilization level is low and the number of individuals is small. Even if the spiritual bodies of their entire race are condensed together, they cannot become the lowest level of spiritual community. There is only one normal solution, which is to increase the number of individuals, improve the level of civilization, and allow the race to continue to have cosmic level strongmen. Only then there is a glimmer of possibility. Any civilization that wants to evolve must lay a solid foundation step by step, and it is absolutely impossible to ascend to heaven in one step. Otherwise, the end will be the same as the Manco people who have the source of faith. They obviously have the top treasure of the universe such as the source of faith, but they are destroyed by their own technology. However, Xia Xingchen destroyed the life well of the Elder and cut off their evolutionary path. The Elder were not a strong race to begin with. Their individuals were few in number, and their strong ones were also weak. The strongest were only at the black hole level. Without the path of evolution, the number of elder individuals would become fewer and fewer until they died out. Therefore, Abel decided to take a risk and not take the normal path. He forced the race to ascend and evolve into a spiritual symbiont. This method is to slaughter other intelligent races with strong spiritual power, collect their spiritual energy, and use it as food for this blue giant. This method is extremely cruel and inhumane. The Elder Celestials slaughtered more than 8 trillion lives in 2 years. Although the Elder Celestials made arrangements to let the Eternal Protests support them, block the news, and conceal public opinion, their actions were too cruel. In the end, the truth was exposed, which attracted the investigation team of the Celestial Committee. Knowing that the investigation team was coming, Abel knew that he could not hide it anymore, and acted even crazier, even sending troops to intercept the investigation team in the hope of delaying time. However, Xia Xingchen once again destroyed the plan of the Elder Celestials. Abel was trapped by Xia Xingchen's black hole mystery. He had no choice but to explode himself to escape. The army in the starry sky was also killed. He turned into spiritual energy one step ahead and merged with the blue giant. Everything is clear. Heartbroken, Xia Xingchen gritted his teeth and made a 4-character comment on the actions of the spirit race. The law of the universe is the survival of the fittest. In order to evolve, races often use any means. However, no matter how unscrupulous, there is a bottom line. The spirit race has completely lost its bottom line. If their actions are exposed on the Universal Civilization Network, they will be condemned by all races in the universe. Xia Xingchen, whatever you say. Abel smiled coldly, no matter how you struggle, you will die in my hands. The universe will only remember the strong. Abel's body suddenly turned into grey crystals and dissipated in the wind. A ray of white light poured out of Abel's body and shot into the giant's forehead. The giant's face was originally blurred, but now it slowly turned into Abel's appearance, with indifferent eyes and a sarcastic smile on the corner of his mouth. Xia Xingchen, I want to see how you can escape from my palm this time. The blue giant slowly stood up, his waist broke through the clouds, and his head was even outside the atmosphere. He waved his hand, and his palm was like a mountain pressing down on his head, grabbing Xia Xingchen in his palm. Xia Xingchen had no power to resist at all, and he couldn't even move his body. You know, the blue giant not only gathered the spiritual energy of all the spirits, but also the spiritual energy of 800 billion intelligent lives. The accumulation of these energies is so terrifying. Not to mention Xia Xingchen, who is at the black hole level. Even the universe level can't resist it. But a pyramid barrier appeared on the surface of the Faith Mecha, covering it. In the cockpit, Xia Xingchen gritted his teeth tightly, and the source of faith was suspended above his head, emitting dazzling golden light. The blue giant pinched his big hand, but it was like pinching a solid meteorite, and it couldn't be crushed. You do have a treasure of the universe. But, when I kill you, this treasure will be mine. The blue giant laughed coldly, his voice like thunder. Since I'm a god, I must have a divine weapon at hand. Don't even think about it. Xia Xingchen could only persevere, veins on his forehead throbbing, blood spurting out of his mouth. Facing the spiritual symbiont, Xia Xingchen felt extremely weak. Chapter 1779, Ignorance is Fearless. The faith match was held in the palm of the blue giant's hand. In the cockpit, Xia Xingchen gritted his teeth and poured all his mental power into the source of faith, struggling to hold on. I didn't expect that the spirit race celestial beings actually found the technology to condense the spiritual symbiont. They spared no effort to slaughter 800 billion intelligent creatures to condense this blue giant. I'm really no match for him. Xia Xingchen found that he still underestimated the spirit race celestial beings. Although the spirit race is not a big race in the celestial world, it has a deep foundation and is also a hegemon. It is too naive to want to destroy the spirit race with the power of Xia Xingchen alone. Xia Xingchen, you have always been an enemy of my spirit race. Now your retribution has come. Just hold on. The more you struggle, the happier I am. Abel's evil laugh came out of the blue giant's mouth. In Abel's view, Xia Xingchen can no longer hold on for too long and will be crushed to pieces at any time. This is indeed the case. Teacher Xia Xingchen was in a desperate situation. Although he was very reluctant, he could only temporarily put aside his self-esteem and send a distress signal to the Spacetime Academy. Swish. The next moment, a piece of space above the Demon Vine Star was torn, and a black scar appeared. Bahuang, wearing a white robe, walked out directly. Bahuang came very quickly and arrived the moment Xia Xingchen sent out the distress signal. It can be seen that Bahuang attaches great importance to Xia Xingchen, his disciple. Bahuang stood in midair, looking at the huge giant below, frowning slightly, and his face was uncertain. Who? Another human? The blue giant looked up and saw Bahuang standing in midair, looking down at the earth, with a look of astonishment in his eyes. From Bahuang's body, the blue giant could not feel any energy fluctuations, as if he was a weakling who was not worth mentioning. However, the blue giant is a spiritual symbiont, with a very strong mental power, an excellent sixth sense, and even some predictive ability. Bahuang obviously looked very weak, but the blue giant felt a strong sense of crisis from him, as if he was in existence, that he could not offend. Teacher. Xia Xingchen saw Bahuang's arrival, a hint of joy appeared on his face, and he shouted loudly, "Yes, Xingchen." Bahuang nodded slightly at Xia Xingchen and said, "I received your distress signal, and rushed over immediately. On the way here, I was still wondering what kind of terrifying existence it was, that even you found it so difficult to deal with, and sent out a distress signal. I thought it was a fallen angel, but I didn't expect it to be a spiritual symbiont." That's right, you are only at the black hole level, and you are really no match for a spiritual symbiont. Teacher, the spirit race celestial being has gone crazy, slaughtered countless lives, and risked the extinction of the race, to condense into this giant. I'm no match. Please save me, teacher. Xia Xingchen shouted. Have you slaughtered countless lives? Bahuang frowned slightly, looking at the huge blue giant. Indeed, I felt a strong smell of blood from him. Countless sins are condensed in his body. Teacher? The blue giant looked at Bahuang intently. His face changed slightly. Supervisor. Yes, you are the supervisor of the Space-Time Academy. Rumor has it that Xia Xingchen's teacher is a supervisor of the Space-Time Academy. I didn't expect it to be true. This kid is really lucky. Yes, it's me. Bahuang said lightly. What do you want? Do you want to stop me? The blue giant looked at Bahuang with a crazy face and shouted, what if you are an overseer? If you dare to stop me, I will kill you. Even if I offend the Space-Time Academy, I'm not afraid. I'm already invincible in the universe. No one is my opponent. How ignorant. The universe is so big, and the strength of the strong is so strong. How can you, a frog in the well, imagine it? Bahuang's eyes showed a trace of contempt, and he shook his head slowly. You are just a spiritual symbiont, and it's still a semi-finished product, and you dare to speak so arrogantly? The ignorant are fearless, and that's what I mean. Bahuang raised his right hand, and waved it slightly. Boom. A terrifying energy flew out of Bahuang's hand, from top to bottom, and attacked the blue giant. The blue giant felt like he was suppressed by 100,000 mountains. His huge body could not support it, and with a loud noise, his upper body was pressed to the ground, his cheek touched the ground, and there was a weight of 10,000 pounds on his neck, so he couldn't lift his head at all. Horror. The only two words left in the blue giant's mind. Only now did he understand how terrifying the supervisor of the Space-Time Academy was, and he was no match for him. How could there be such a terrifying life in the universe? I have become a god. Why? Why? The blue giant was suppressed on the ground, and let out a heart-wrenching howl. God. Bahuang smiled faintly. Even you dare to call yourself a god. God is too worthless. I don't want to die. I was just born. I don't want to die yet. Hateful. Xia Xingchen's master turned out to be a supervisor, and his strength is so terrifying. I should have known that I shouldn't have been his enemy. Unfortunately, it's too late. The blue giant's eyes were full of despair. He had a premonition that he would be killed by this supervisor named Bahuang in the next moment. Teacher, you are so powerful. Xia Xingchen looked at Bahuang standing in the air with admiration, and had a new understanding of the teacher's strength. However, Bahuang withdrew his hand, and put his hands behind his back. The blue giant suddenly felt lighter, and Bahuang suddenly withdrew his hand. He stood up again, and looked at Bahuang in surprise. Teacher, he has done so many bad things that he deserved to die long ago. You have just suppressed him. Why don't you take action to get rid of him directly? Xia Xingchen also looked puzzled. Xingchen, don't forget, I'm the supervisor. Bahuang shook his head slowly, a sad look on his face. Supervisors cannot interfere with the universe. Back then, I watched my wife die in front of me, but could only watch. I saw humans being wiped out by ancient humans, and I could only watch. Because I'm the supervisor. Like the fallen angels, once I interfere with the universe, I may disrupt time and space, and produce unpredictable consequences. I thought you met a fallen angel, so I rushed over immediately. If the other party was a fallen angel, I could naturally take action. But the other party is not, but a spiritual symbiont. Although his sins are heavy, he is a product of this universe after all. He spoke rudely. I can teach him a lesson and let him know that there are always people better than you. But I can't kill him. Xingchen, I'm sorry. Forgive master. Bahuang lowered his head, stood aside with his hands behind his back, and whispered, if you have any accident, I will try to resurrect you. No matter how great the cost, I will resurrect you. In short, I can't do anything. Chapter 1780 The Sorrow of the Supervisor. Teacher. Xia Xingchen looked at Bahuang in disbelief. He had never thought that teacher Bahuang would be so cold and indifferent, saying such heartless words, watching him being killed by the blue giant, but standing by and watching. Bahuang turned around and turned his back to Xia Xingchen. Xia Xingchen stared at the teacher's figure and found that his body was shaking uncontrollably and his emotions fluctuated violently. As strong as Bahuang, as the supervisor of the Spacetime Academy, he is one of the strongest in the universe, but he can also lose his composure like this? It is conceivable that Bahuang was so helpless to say what he just said and to stand by and watch. How unwilling. Teacher in an instant, Xia Xingchen's confusion and hatred for Bahuang disappeared. In fact, Bahuang has said more than once that supervisors cannot interfere with the universe. Even when Bahuang's wife died at the hands of the Eternal God clan, Bahuang could only watch. No matter how close Xia Xingchen's relationship with Bahuang is, it is impossible to surpass the relationship between Bahuang and his wife. It's not that Bahuang was unwilling to help, it's really that he couldn't violate the rules of the supervisor. In fact, if Xia Xingchen was really killed, Bahuang could only resurrect him, and the price to pay was extremely high. Even as a supervisor, he could hardly bear it. Xingchen, forgive me, master, I'm the supervisor, I really can't help. Forgive me. Bahuang lowered his head, his face was gloomy. Teacher, whether I live or die, I will not resent you. You have your difficulties. Xia Xingchen looked at the teacher with an understanding smile on his face. Xingchen, you are such a good child. It's a pity that as a teacher. Bahuang turned around, a tear ran down his cheek. I shed tears. For tens of thousands of years, I haven't been moved again. I thought I would never cry. But, Bahuang raised his hand, touched his cheek, and whispered, Xingchen, why don't you run away? Bahuang raised his head and looked at his apprentice. You can't defeat the spirit symbiote, and I can't do anything. You can only run away now. I know you are unwilling, but I don't want to see you die in front of me. As long as you have the Green Mountains, you will not be afraid of running out of firewood. Since the master said so, I'm indeed no match for this spirit symbiote. It seems that I can only run away. Xia Xingchen shook his head and decided to temporarily evacuate the Demon Vine Star. Xia Xingchen, you want to escape? It's not that easy. The blue giant smiled slightly, opened his big hand with 5 fingers, and blocked Xia Xingchen. What? My master is watching from the side, and you dare to stop me? Xia Xingchen was stunned and shouted coldly. Your master? Ha ha ha. I've heard that the supervisors of the Spacetime Academy cannot interfere with the universe. I didn't expect the rumors to be true. If he could kill me, he would have just done it. Why did he let me go? The two of you stared at each other for a long time, and it was clear that you were communicating with each other mentally. You decided to escape. Xia Xingchen, this is a great opportunity to kill you. I can't let this opportunity go. The blue giant smiled coldly, waved his hand suddenly, and held the faith match in his palm again. You dare. Bahuang saw this, his eyebrows were raised, and he shouted violently. He raised his right hand, bursting with blue light, and strong mental fluctuations surged out. Supervisor, you are indeed very strong. But you dare to kill me? I'm standing here. Kill me if you have the guts. The blue giant had a strange smile on his face, looking at Bahuang above his head provocatively, as if he was sure to eat him. Bahuang's face was cold, his chest rose and fell violently, and finally he took his hand back. Bahuang really couldn't do it. Even if he was provoked by such a villain like the blue giant, he could only swallow his anger. Who made him the supervisor? Xia Xingchen, you are a very cunning boy. I will never let you go this time. The blue giant raised his head, put his right hand in front of his mouth, and swallowed Xia Xingchen and his mecha in one gulp. Goodbye, teacher. Xia Xingchen showed a bitter smile on his face, and looked at Bahuang with eyes full of attachment. No. Bahuang stretched out his right hand towards Xia Xingchen and roared, but everything was in vain. Snap, snap, snap. The blue giant chewed his teeth hard, looking at Bahuang provocatively, as if he could do nothing to me. Bahuang held his head with both hands, in extreme pain, and even his face was completely distorted. He really wanted to kill the blue giant and rescue Xia Xingchen. However, after all, he was one of the strongest in the universe, with extremely strong willpower, and he was not overwhelmed by emotions, and lost his mind. Ha ha ha. In front of the supervisor, he ate his beloved apprentice in one bite. This feeling is really refreshing. Too refreshing. The blue giant supported the ground with both hands, and the lower half of his body buried deep in the earth slowly crawled out, with an unbridled laugh on his face. Since you can't stop me, you can only watch me leave. The blue giant's body gradually faded, and turned into pure spiritual energy, ready to leave the demon vine star, and stay away from this starfield. The spiritual body is a special form of life. The blue giant is a spiritual symbiont, a spiritual life, that has evolved to the pinnacle. He is not yet the opponent of the supervisor Bahuang, because he was born not long ago. Although he has adapted to this body over time, I believe he can compete with the supervisor. In short, once the blue giant escapes from this starfield, even Bahuang will find it difficult to find his whereabouts in the vast universe. Even if he finds him, he may not be able to do anything to him. Just when the blue giant's body became extremely thin and almost disappeared, his face changed unexpectedly, and he covered his stomach with both hands, knelt on one knee, and looked painful. What's going on? The blue giant muttered, looking down at the painful area. He was a spiritual being, and he should have lost his 5 senses, and no sense of pain. How could he feel pain? In the chest and abdomen of the blue giant, there was a tiny light spot, emitting a faint white light. It was a crystal pyramid. In the pyramid, Xia Xingchen sat cross-legged, surrounded by a stream of faith power like a white thread. Source of faith, you saved my life again. Xia Xingchen opened his eyes and looked. Whenever Xia Xingchen was in danger of his life, the source of faith would appear and save Xia Xingchen from danger. It is indeed one of the artifacts of creation, and its power is so powerful that even I can't imagine it. Bahuang was slightly relieved to see Xia Xingchen safe and sound. However, the situation is still not optimistic. It takes a huge amount of mental power to stimulate the protective ability of the source of faith. When the faith power stored in the source of faith is exhausted, and Xia Xingchen's mental power is completely exhausted, he still can't escape death. You kid, you can survive after being swallowed by me. What kind of artifact is this crystal pyramid? Humph, just hold on. When the energy of the pyramid is exhausted, you will still die. Your artifact will belong to me. The blue giant laughed. Chapter 1781 GD Counterattack. This is not a solution. Xia Xingchen sat cross-legged in the crystal pyramid, feeling the pressure around him coming like a mountain. If this continued, he could only hold on for 3 minutes at most, and he would be crushed into dust by the huge spiritual energy in the blue giant. Let's fight. Xia Xingchen stood up suddenly, and the crystal pyramid also expanded outward by dozens of meters, competing with the spiritual energy in the giant's body. Stupid. Extremely stupid. Abel's figure appeared in front of Xia Xingchen, with a sarcastic smile on his face. With your own strength, you want to fight against the spiritual energy of my entire spirit race? Humph, not only our spirit race, but also those 80 trillion creatures. One spit from each of them will drown you. Swish, swish, swish. Behind Abel, a series of blurred figures appeared. All of them were spirit race celestial beings, and they all looked at Xia Xingchen with indifference. Behind the countless spirit race celestial beings, there were many more blurred figures. These figures are the 8 trillion lives that were slaughtered. Their consciousness was originally very weak, and now it has almost completely dispersed. They have merged with the blue giant, and can only be confused, and obey the orders of the elder. In an instant, Xia Xingchen was surrounded by thousands of troops in the center, isolated and helpless. The source of faith. Xia Xingchen shouted in a low voice, and the crystal pyramid covering his body burst out with a ray of light. However, the light was quickly suppressed. The source of the faith power of the source of faith is the faith and worship of Xia Xingchen by trillions of humans in the Milky Way. The transmission of the power of faith can cross space. However, the starfield, where the demon vine star is located, is too far away from the Milky Way, and the Milky Way has the Milky Way barrier. Crossing such a long space will cause some energy loss. Not enough. The power of human faith alone is not enough. I can't defeat the elder. Xia Xingchen gritted his teeth. Xia Xingchen, just accept your fate. Your struggle is meaningless. Abel sneered, took a step forward, and countless figures behind him also took steps forward. The terrifying black energy attacked Xia Xingchen from all directions, like a huge wave, pressing him so hard that he couldn't breathe. Bahuang, who was watching from the side, couldn't help but shake his head, with a hint of despair in his eyes. Bahuang also hoped for a miracle. However, the gap between Xia Xingchen and the blue giant was too big. It was like an ant and an elephant. No matter how strong an ant was, it couldn't be the opponent of an elephant. Seeing the light of the source of faith getting weaker and weaker, the pyramid that had finally expanded to tens of meters was oppressed by the dark spiritual energy, and returned to its original size, even smaller than before. Xia Xingchen couldn't even sit cross-legged in the pyramid, and could only bend down, embarrassed and humiliated. At this moment, a light green power of faith suddenly emerged from Xia Xingchen's body, like a green vine, sprouting quickly, helping him support the source of faith that was about to collapse. This is... Xia Xingchen was surprised. This power of faith was something he had never seen before. Whose faith is this? What surprised Xia Xingchen even more was that, although this power of faith had just been condensed, its power was very amazing. It not only supported the source of faith, but also resisted the spiritual energy of the blue giant. In just a few minutes, it turned into a huge magic vine. What is this? You are obviously at the end of your strength. How come you suddenly have new power? Abel was shocked. He found that he could not break through Xia Xingchen's faith barrier. Could it be? Bahuang was shocked when he saw this scene. He waved his hand, and suddenly green light appeared in the air, and gathered on Xia Xingchen's body. This was the trajectory of the power of faith. Bahuang went against the trajectory, and looked at the source of the power of faith. Suddenly, the whole person was stunned. On the entire magic vine star, hundreds of thousands of hobbits on the tops of hundreds of mountains, densely packed, all knelt on their knees at this moment, and kept bowing in the direction of Xia Xingchen, with piety on their faces. God, please bless the hobbits. God, we believe in you. You will definitely defeat the demon. The demon is not scary. You are the true God in our hearts. The hobbits knelt devoutly, muttering and praying. The hobbits' civilization is primitive and their hearts are pure. Their power of faith is extremely pure, turning into huge energy, gathering in the source of faith, and turning into magic vines beside Xia Xingchen to help him resist the attack of the blue giant. It turned out to be the hobbits. I didn't expect that at the last moment. They helped me. Xia Xingchen also saw the source of the power of faith. The hobbits who knelt and kowtowed at the top of the mountain were shocked. He rescued the hobbits unintentionally, but he didn't expect that the power of the hobbits' faith would become Xia Xingchen's last straw. The hobbits are actually hobbits, Abel said with a ferocious face. If I had known that you would do bad things, I should have eliminated all of you, leaving no one alive. But it's useless. Your power is too small to change anything. The final winner is still me. We are the elder. However, something unexpected happened to Abel. As if sensing the prayers of the hobbits in the magic vine, the originally blurred black shadows behind the elder celestials gradually became clearer, turning into short hobbits, and also knelt down towards Xia Xingchen. Not only the hobbits, other intelligent races that were slaughtered by the elder celestials, whose consciousness was almost extinct, also suddenly made up their minds, turned into races with different faces and sizes, and knelt down towards Xia Xingchen. God, please defeat the devil. Please save us. We don't want to be united with him. We don't want to help him. Please kill us, and give us freedom. The 8 trillion slaughtered souls actually regained consciousness, and turned into countless lives, kneeling in front of Xia Xingchen and praying devoutly. In an instant, the blue giant's body shrank rapidly, only less than 100 meters. Xia Xingchen's body suddenly expanded, and turned into a giant who stood tall. Crazy. You are all crazy. Abel's face changed drastically. Traitors. You lowly races are all despicable traitors. Abel, you and your elder have lost. Your tyranny can destroy their country, and exterminate their race. But it cannot destroy their faith. Xia Xingchen said in a deep voice, "You did not lose to me, nor to the source of faith. You lost to the weak race you despise. 8 trillion lives. The power gathered together, even for a moment, is enough to destroy you and your elder." Xia Xingchen raised his foot and stepped down hard. Boom. The blue giant's body exploded, and Abel and all the elder celestial beings disappeared. Chapter 1782 Spiritual Energy. Boom. Accompanied by a thunderous roar, the blue giant's body collapsed and turned into dust, and pure spiritual energy overflowed and flew towards the universe. Dead. I finally destroyed the spirit race. Seeing this scene, Xia Xingchen finally breathed a sigh of relief, with a relieved smile on his face. "Xingchen, great. I didn't expect that you could defeat this spiritual symbiont. Great. I thought I could only go to the reincarnation cemetery and try to resurrect you." Xia Xingchen killed the blue giant, and Bahuang was overjoyed. He came over and helped the weak Xia Xingchen up. In this battle, Xia Xingchen's mental power was greatly depleted and even damaged his origin. It would take several years to recover. "Teacher, I made you worry." Xia Xingchen looked at Bahuang and said with a smile, "The spirit race celestial beings are the enemies of mankind. They have been hiding in the shadows and plotting conspiracies." The spirit race was completely destroyed, and Xia Xingchen finally felt relieved. He was indescribably happy that his great revenge was avenged. The extermination of the spirit race was their own fault. But, after all, it was you who killed the spiritual symbiont. If this news spreads, the entire starry sky will be shocked. The name Xia Xingchen will also spread in the celestial world. Bahuang smiled slightly, looking at Xia Xingchen, feeling proud of him. At the same time, he was also a little worried. Blessings and disasters go hand in hand. Xia Xingchen's reputation is a good thing, but also a bad thing. The spirit race is a large race in the universe. Although their methods are cruel, they also have some races with good relations. I'm afraid that Xia Xingchen will be envied by these races in the future. If he is not envied, he is a mediocre person. A genius like Xia Xingchen who is so outstanding should not care about the envy of those little people. But Xia Xingchen is only at the black hole level now. Above him, there are many powerful cosmic level people who can easily kill him. In the future, Xia Xingchen will be in greater danger when traveling in the starry sky of the universe. Bahuang thought about it and decided privately that after Xia Xingchen left the Demon Vine Star, he would immediately return to the Spacetime Academy to start practicing in seclusion until he reached the cosmic level. At this moment, 3 white balls of light emerged from the place where the blue giant fell, each with a diameter of hundreds of meters, floating in the air. "This is..." Bahuang was slightly stunned. His face showed a look of joy, and he said in surprise, "This is spiritual energy. Pure and flawless spiritual energy." "Teacher, what is spiritual energy?" Xia Xingchen asked in confusion. The so-called spiritual energy is a kind of pure spiritual energy. It is generally formed by the spiritual energy in the body of a star beast with strong spiritual power or a cosmic strongman after his body dies. Generally speaking, spiritual energy will be mixed with other consciousnesses. It is very rare to have such pure spiritual energy like the 3 balls in front of you. If you can refine these 3 balls of spiritual energy and transform them into your own energy, you will definitely be able to break through the black hole level and enter the cosmic level. Bahuang explained. Spiritual energy. Xia Xingchen's eyes lit up and he understood. These 3 groups of spiritual energy are the spiritual energy left over from the 80 trillion intelligent creatures slaughtered by the spirit race. Their consciousness has completely disappeared, leaving only pure energy. This is the testimony of their existence in the universe. Absorb and refine. Xia Xingchen couldn't bear it, and his face was embarrassed. Bahuang saw that Xia Xingchen's face was different, frowned slightly, and asked, "Why? You don't want to?" "Teacher, I can't bear it." Xia Xingchen nodded and said softly, "This is too soft-hearted." Bahuang couldn't help but scolded. "If you don't have the heart to absorb it, naturally other powerful beings in the universe will come and snatch the spiritual energy. Besides, are you sure that the consciousness of the spirit race has been completely destroyed? Spiritual consciousness is the most illusory. It is easy to disperse it, but it is too difficult to completely kill it. Maybe, after a period of time, they will revive and be reborn in a corner of the planet. If the spiritual energy is obtained by the remaining consciousness of the spirit race, the spiritual symbiont will be reborn. Everything you have done is in vain. The demon vine star and the nearby starfields will experience another catastrophe. Xingchen, you absorb these spiritual energies to completely cut off the retreat of the spirit race, cut the grass and root it out, and eliminate all evil. I understand. After Bahuang's explanation, Xia Xingchen broke out in cold sweat on his forehead. He almost made a big mistake because of his confusion just now. Teacher, how long does it take me to refine the spiritual energy? Xia Xingchen asked. 3 years at the fastest and 5 years at the slowest. The birth of a cosmic level person is not that easy. It is incredible that a cosmic level person can be born in 3 to 5 years. You must seize this opportunity. Bahuang said. 3 to 5 years. Xia Xingchen bit her lip. This is not the time of the Spacetime Academy, but the normal time of the universe. This means that Xingchen will have to wait for her in the Milky Way for another 3 to 5 years. It has been nearly 10 years since Xia Xingchen left the Milky Way and ventured into the starry sky. Xingchen has been waiting for 10 years. Let Jaina wait another 3 to 5 years. Xia Xingchen couldn't bear it. Missing home? Bahuang saw what Xia Xingchen was thinking. Yeah. Xia Xingchen nodded. My father is old and in poor health. My wife is still young and has been waiting for me in my hometown. I can't wait for 3 to 5 years. Xingchen. Bahuang smiled. I understand your feelings for your relatives. However, for some trivial matters of love, you really don't regret giving up this great opportunity to be promoted to the cosmic level. Teacher, I'm also in a difficult situation. Please help me point out a way. Xia Xingchen bowed and said, I'm thinking about my relatives in my heart and miss them every day. If this matter cannot be resolved, I have no intention of practicing. There are 2 methods. Bahuang thought for a while and said, the first method is that you are good at condensing spiritual clones. With your black hole level strength and the energy of creation, you can already create a lifelike spiritual clone. I can help you send the clone back to the Milky Way to reunite with your family, and your original body will stay here to practice. Ah. Xia Xingchen's eyes lit up and exclaimed, Teacher, why didn't I think of this good idea? Don't be happy too soon. Bahuang shook his head. This method has a big flaw. Have you ever thought about separating a part of your mental power, or in other words, separating a part of your soul and turning it into a clone? Is that clone still you? Would you feel uncomfortable if you let the clone accompany your wife and family instead of you? Xia Xingchen was stunned. He had never thought about this question. Chapter 1783 The Real Hero. Xia Xingchen had condensed a spiritual clone before. However, the spiritual clones in the past were to help Xia Xingchen drive the mecha and fight. Xia Xingchen had tried to synchronize the thoughts of the main body in the clone, and the maximum distance of manipulating the clone was 300,000 kilometers. If it was farther, the behavior of the spiritual clone would be delayed, or even dissipate directly. But that was in the past. Xia Xingchen is now a celestial being, a black hole level cosmic powerhouse. It's just that he condensed a clone. Xia Xingchen can ensure that the spiritual clone has its own thinking consciousness like the main body, and it can be said to be an independent life form. An independent life form, although it is his own clone, but the Milky Way is extremely far away from the celestial world, and Xia Xingchen has been in seclusion for a long time. It is impossible to synchronize thoughts with the clone, and it is impossible to share memories. Even due to some special experiences, the spiritual clone will develop a new personality different from the main body. So, is this clone still Xia Xingchen himself? Xia Xingchen suddenly felt very ridiculous. If I condense a clone and let him accompany Xingchen, would it be considered as putting a green hat on myself? Teacher, the first method does have flaws. Xia Xingchen thought for a moment, and finally shook his head. With my current strength, I can't cross space and synchronize my thoughts with my spiritual clone. Well, this is exactly what I'm worried about. Bahuang looked at Xia Xingchen and nodded. Condensing a clone to accompany your family will not solve your pain of missing them. Then, there is only the second method, which I mentioned before. As long as you enter the universe level and master the mystery of time, you can return to the original timeline to accompany your family. You can accompany them as long as you want until they grow old and reach the end of their lives. Moreover, as long as you master the mystery of time, it is extremely easy to manipulate time and extend the life of your loved ones by hundreds or even thousands of years. In fact, as long as you are strong enough, all problems will be solved. Universe level mastery of the mystery of time. Return to the previous timeline. Xia Xingchen's blood boiled when he heard it. It turns out that the solution to the problem is so simple. Teacher, you are right. I shouldn't be confused. As long as I'm strong enough, all problems are not problems. Xia Xingchen's mind suddenly became clear, and a look of joy appeared on his face. Xingchen, maybe you think that the universe level is too far away, and controlling the mystery of time is even more out of reach. But Bahuang looked mysterious, stretched out his hand in the sky, and a scene suddenly appeared. Shiny and star. In a beautiful garden. A pair of 3 or 4-year-old twin girls were chasing and playing in the garden. Their eyebrows and eyes were somewhat similar to Kinjana. Kinjana was wearing a long skirt, sitting on a swing, with a smile on her face, and whispered to the children to be careful. Not far from Kinjana, Xia Xingchen was leaning on a recliner, reading a book about new mechas. Unknowingly, Xia Xingchen was already in tears. The scene shown by Bahuang was exactly the life that Xia Xingchen desired most. Just looking at this beautiful scene, Xia Xingchen was deeply immersed in it and couldn't extricate himself for a while. Teacher, is it an illusion you showed me? But why do you know my wish? Did you peek into my heart? Xia Xingchen looked puzzled. No, this is not an illusion, and I didn't spy on your heart. Bahuang waved his hand, and the scene in the sky disappeared. He said, this is a parallel universe, the scene of Shiny and Star at this moment. In that universe, you have entered the universe level and returned to Shiny and Star to accompany your family. I want to tell you that the life you desire is not far away from you. Thank you, teacher. I understand everything. The confusion in Xia Xingchen's eyes was swept away, replaced by an unyielding determination. Whoosh. Xia Xingchen thanked Bahuang again, drove the mecha towards a ball of spiritual energy, and entered it. Bahuang watched Xia Xingchen enter the spiritual energy, nodded slightly, and showed approval on his face. It will take at least 3 to 5 years to absorb these spiritual energies. Bahuang thought to himself, I don't want Xia Xingchen to be disturbed during this period. The best way is to seal off the demon vine star. And Bahuang frowned slightly. The technology for the coagulation of spiritual symbionts has been lost for millions of years. Where did the elder get this technology? A lost relic of a civilization? No one would believe it. I'm afraid that there is a shadow of the fallen behind this incident. Bahuang thought for a while, reported his speculation to the Spacetime Academy, and applied for a space blockade order for the Demon Vine Star and the surrounding starfields. Bahuang has a very high status in the Spacetime Academy, and his speculation is not groundless. Therefore, the Spacetime Academy quickly passed the space blockade order, allowing Bahuang to set up a space barrier so that no one can enter or leave the Demon Vine Star. The voice of Bahuang echoed in the minds of intelligent creatures on the entire Magic Vine Star. I'm Bahuang, the supervisor of the Spacetime Academy. In 24 hours, the Magic Vine Star will be completely closed and no one can enter or leave. Those who are stranded, please evacuate within 24 hours. No one will be allowed to leave after the deadline. In the depths of the jungle on the Magic Vine Star, the Celestial Investigation Team spaceship, Bal and Harvey were on standby in the spaceship. They also heard the voice of Bahuang. The two looked at each other, immediately started the engine, and flew away from the Magic Vine Star. When Xia Xingchen was fighting the Elder Celestials, the two members of the investigation team were not idle. Biologist Bal managed to gain the trust of a hobbit tribe, and obtained first-hand information from them. He found out the cruel behavior of the Elder Celestials in genocide, and obtained decisive evidence. Historian Harvey used a small drone to record everything about Xia Xingchen and the Blue Giant. Although the distance was extremely far, he could still see the thrilling battle. A few weeks later, the investigation team spaceship returned to Cosmos Star. Bal and Harvey were treated like heroes, and the entire airport was full of people welcoming them. They immediately held a press conference to make the abominable behavior of the Elder Celestial beings known to the world. This press conference caused an uproar, and for a time, the entire universal civilization internet was full of discussions about this matter. Widely circulated on the internet was a video. The video was an edited version, blurry, but it still topped the video rankings. This video recorded the battle between Xia Xingchen and the Blue Giant. Historian Harvey, with the rigorous and fair attitude of a scholar, did not take credit for it, and directly announced at the press conference, the hero who solved this incident was not Ballandai, but the head of the investigation team, Xia Xingchen, a human from the Milky Way. He not only found out the cause of the incident, but also risked great danger to stop the elder celestial beings from continuing to commit crimes. He saved the demon Vine Star, the 3 major starfields, and the intelligent races of thousands of planets. He is the real hero. Chapter 1784, Eternal God. Eternal Star Region. A golden planet in the center of the star region. The Eternal God clan spent 5 million years to build a huge eternal empire. This is the capital planet of the Eternal Empire, Eternal Star. On Eternal Star, all items are made of eternal gold. Eternal gold is the most stable metal in the universe, and it is also the common currency of many cosmic races. It is the most valuable hard currency. For tens of millions of years, the value of eternal gold has always been very valuable. On the Universal Civilization Network, 1 kilogram of eternal gold can buy a small spaceship. 10 kilograms of eternal gold can make a celestial being worry-free for life. Such precious metals can be seen everywhere on Eternal Star. Statues, buildings, everything is made of eternal gold. The whole planet is shrouded in a layer of golden light, which is extremely luxurious. Everything is extremely exquisite, and is the top artwork in the universe. However, everything is lifeless. On the highest peak of Eternal Star, there is a golden towering temple. On the throne in the center of the temple sits a giant wearing a crown. He is the Emperor of the Eternal Empire and the leader of the Eternal God clan, the Eternal God. Your Majesty. In the air, an image appeared. It was a black hole level Eternal God. He was very young, less than 100,000 years old. With an anxious look on his face, he reported to the Eternal God, Your Majesty, something bad has happened. The plan of the Elder has failed. The Elder have been exterminated. The Celestial Committee has begun to investigate this matter. The Spacetime Academy is also secretly working to investigate related clues. A look of surprise appeared on the heroic face of the Eternal God, which had remained calm for millions of years. He slowly raised his eyelids, and a divine light flashed in the depths of his pupils. In an instant, his eyes penetrated time and space, and saw everything that happened on the Demon Vine Star. The crazy massacre of the Elder Celestials. The condensation and awakening of the Blue Giant. And the fierce battle between Xia Xingchen and the Blue Giant. In the end, the Blue Giant was defeated by Xia Xingchen. Although it was tens of millions of light years away from the Demon Vine Star, the Eternal God's eyes saw through everything, and nothing that happened in the universe could be hidden from his eyes. This is. The Eternal God saw the crystal pyramid floating above Xia Xingchen's head, and was slightly moved. It was with the help of this object that Xia Xingchen defeated the enemy that was originally impossible to defeat. If he was not mistaken, the fragment of the legendary 9th artifact of creation, the Source of Faith, was suspended above the head of this young human youth. Has the Source of Faith finally appeared in the world? It actually fell into the hands of a little guy. I can easily take this artifact away. But, behind him is the Space-Time Academy. Could it be that he is one of the chess pieces set by the Space-Time Elder? The Eternal Lord wanted to predict Xia Xingchen's future, but found that his future was dark, as if someone had deliberately covered it up. The Source of Faith must be taken away. It is related to the final battle. If I get the Source of Faith, my chance of survival will increase by 30%. The Eternal Lord's eyes were burning. But, with the Space-Time Academy interfering, I can't take action directly. I can only try to make a layout. The Eternal Lord's eyes fell on Xia Xingchen again. Although he could not see Xia Xingchen's future, he could observe Xia Xingchen's past. The Eternal Lord went upstream along the long river of time, and from countless fragments of time, he pieced together all the information about Xia Xingchen from birth to his growth into a powerful cosmic being. If you want to snatch the Source of Faith, you can only start from 2 places. One is the human beings in the Milky Way, the group that Xia Xingchen values most. The other is his good friend, the mechanical race Carlos. The Milky Way has a galactic barrier, which is also under the surveillance of the Spacetime Academy. Therefore, the best route is Carlos. The Eternal Lord's eyes were extremely bright, and he ordered, "Pass on my order, raise the threat rating of the artificial intelligence Carlos to S level, and send a cosmic level, to monitor him 24 hours a day. However, unless you get my oral order, you can only monitor, not take action. Anyone who dares to disobey, will be immediately sent to the abyss of the universe to my nice cause for 10,000 years. The cosmic level is no exception. Let the cosmic level monitor a small artificial intelligence." Hearing the order of the Eternal Lord, the young Eternal God was surprised. However, the order of the Eternal Lord was absolute, and no one could question it. He quickly knelt down and bowed respectfully. Demon Vine Star. The entire planet is in a state of blockade, and no race can enter or leave. In the jungle, Xia Xingchen sat cross-legged in a pyramid-shaped temple. Beside him were two white balls, emitting light, which were spiritual energy. Xia Xingchen's body was emitting a faint white light. The third ball of spiritual energy had been swallowed by him using the black hole mystery, and was slowly refining it, converting the pure energy of spiritual energy into his own energy. In fact, the moment Xia Xingchen swallowed the spiritual energy, his body functions were in a state of stagnation, completely isolated from the outside world. The place where he swallowed the spiritual energy was above a jungle. The hobbits of Demon Vine Star found Xia Xingchen, and regarded him as a god. With his body as the center, they built a huge pyramid temple, and sent people to guard outside the temple day and night, to prevent anyone from disturbing the god. 3 years later, in the universe, there was a blue nebula in the shape of a dart. This is the Dart Nebula, which is composed of gas and dust ejected before a star collapses into a dwarf star. The temperature in the Dart Nebula is extremely low, with an average temperature of -270 degrees. It is a forbidden place for life, and ordinary people cannot approach the nebula. Whoosh! A robot with a broken body was driving a small spaceship that was also seriously damaged and broke into the core of the Dart Nebula. "We can only hide in this place." This robot was Carlos's clone. With a resolute look in his eyes, he took out a black box from his chest and put it on a meteorite deep in the nebula. The black box is made of a special alloy that can shield detection signals. It is very safe to hide things in such a place. Unless the exact coordinates are obtained, it is impossible to find it. Whoosh! Carlos returned to the spaceship, started the engine, broke out of the Dart Nebula, and immediately jumped. Whoosh! The spaceship disappeared in an instant, and it had already reached a desolate starfield 10 light years away. Boom! The engine of the spaceship finally couldn't hold on and exploded, bursting into a dazzling flame in the starry sky. The cabin was ejected at the last moment, but Carlos showed a sneer on his face. So what about the eternal gods? Want to snatch things from me, Carlos? I would rather die than give it to you. I will leave this treasure to Xingchen. Xingchen rescued me from the cage of Gemini. He taught me what feelings and love are. He is my best friend, Carlos. For my friends, I would rather die. It's a pity. If I really die, my lover Athena will never be resurrected. Athena. Carlos was in a desperate situation, but he was in a very happy mood. He knew that he did not die for nothing, but died for friendship. Rumble. Strong energy fluctuations appeared in the starry sky, and dozens of huge starry sky battleships appeared out of thin air. The largest battleship was billions of meters. All the battleships exuded golden light, and the symbol of the eternal god Lord Eternal Starlight was on the hull. The largest battleship was the Universe-class battleship of the Eternal Gods. Buzz! A huge figure appeared in the starry sky, exuding a terrifying aura of the universe. It was a cosmic-level powerhouse. Carlos, you can't escape. Hand over the treasure. I will spare your life. Carlos, surrender. Hundreds of black hole-level powerhouses also flew out of the warships and shouted fiercely. In a blink of an eye, Carlos was surrounded by the army of the eternal gods. So many people. What a big show. Carlos laughed. You eternal gods must have been monitoring me all along. Otherwise, how could so many armies suddenly appear? I never thought that I, Carlos, would have this day and be valued by those high-ranking figures. How can I be so worthy of a cosmic level person to arrest me? Stop talking nonsense. Hand it over quickly. The cosmic level strongman shouted, "Otherwise, I will make you die. Dead. You may be able to threaten other life forms, but I'm a mechanical race. We mechanical races don't have bodies, just some data." Carlos laughed. "Anyway, I can't hand over that treasure. Even if you kill me, I won't hand it over. You're looking for death." The cosmic level strongman's eyes burst into a dazzling light, and he shouted angrily, raising a scepter with a gemstone on the top in his hand. Boom. A terrifying energy wave attacked Carlos. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1785 Misty Sea. Demon Vine Star. In the Pyramid Temple, it took Xia Xingchen 3 years to devour and refine 2 balls of spiritual energy. His spiritual power advanced by leaps and bounds, reaching the peak of the black hole level. Teacher is right. The energy contained in spiritual energy is amazing. I absorbed all 3 spiritual energy and transformed them into my own energy, which is enough to impact the universe level. Xia Xingchen stared at the last ball of spiritual energy with burning eyes. It is impact, not to become universe level. It is impossible to become universe level just by absorbing energy. If you just eat, you will only become fat, and it is impossible to become a strong man. To enter the universe level, Xia Xingchen needs other opportunities to have some possibilities. Xingchen. Xia Xingchen was about to refine the last ball of spiritual energy, and suddenly heard the voice of Teacher Bahuang in his mind. Teacher. Xia Xingchen opened his eyes, and a virtual projection of Bahuang appeared in front of him. Teacher, what's wrong? Are you looking for me so anxiously? Xia Xingchen looked at Bahuang and asked. Bahuang looked unfriendly and whispered, Xingchen, something happened to Carlos. Xia Xingchen was in seclusion on the Demon Vine Star, and could not be distracted. He asked the teacher to help keep an eye on the Milky Way and Carlos, and tell him immediately if they were in danger. Bahuang knew what Xia Xingchen was thinking. In order to dispel his worries and concentrate on practicing, he was naturally willing to help with this little effort. Who would have thought that in just 2 short years, Carlos would be in trouble? Teacher, what happened to Carlos? Xia Xingchen stood up with an anxious look on his face. Although Carlos is in a dangerous situation, his life will not be in danger for the time being. Don't worry. Bahuang waved his hand. Listen to me slowly. Okay. Xia Xingchen was slightly relieved, took a deep breath to calm his mind, sat cross-legged again, and listened to Bahuang's explanation. Carlos has been staying indoors since he returned to Kitchen Star from Casmus Star. However, he is very active on the Universal Civilization Network. He has participated in many auctions, purchased a lot of information, and hired mercenaries from Zingi to look for a kind of Stargate fragment. Bahuang said. Ah. Xia Xingchen couldn't help but scream. At that time on Casmus Star, in order to get Carlos away, Xia Xingchen gave Carlos the Stargate fragment obtained from the King Caravan. He also lied to him that it was urgent, and asked Carlos to do his best to find it. Unexpectedly, Carlos really believed it. Under Carlos' leadership, the Botanical Research Institute on King Star is thriving. The dream fruit sells very well on the Universal Civilization Network, and the sales are tight. Every auction can make Carlos a lot of money, and he has accumulated a lot of wealth in a short period of time. And Carlos almost invested all of this wealth to find the Stargate fragment. Hearing Carlos's actions, Xia Xingchen's eyes turned red. What is a friend? This is a friend. Just because of a joke, Carlos gave everything he had. Xia Xingchen was deeply moved. Carlos's investment soon paid off. It only took Carlos a year and a half to gather all the fragments of the Stargate. Generally speaking, it takes 10 years or even longer to gather all the fragments of the Stargate. But Carlos only took a year and a half. First, Carlos is good at collecting and analyzing data, and can identify effective information from the vast information on the Universal Civilization Network. Second, the wealth accumulated by Carlos played a decisive role. In short, after Carlos gathered the fragments of the Stargate, he tried to contact Xia Xingchen. Carlos tried almost all methods, but Xia Xingchen was in seclusion on the magic vine star, isolated from all information, and naturally could not receive the message from Carlos. Since there is a certain time limit after the fragments of the Stargate are gathered, if it cannot be opened within the effective time, the remaining energy of the Stargate will be exhausted, and the Stargate will become invalid. Unable to contact Xia Xingchen, Carlos could only try and activate the Stargate. Behind the Stargate, there may be the remains of a lost civilization. It may be a great treasure. It may be a remote planet. It may be an abandoned spaceship. Of course, the greater possibility is that there is nothing, just a barren starry sky. However, Carlos was very lucky. Behind the Stargate, there was actually an ancient relic. And it was an extremely rare and dangerous ancient relic. This relic is called the Mist Sea. It sounds harmless, but it is one of the 10 most dangerous ancient relics in the universe. In the long history of the universe, someone once discovered the existence of the Mist Sea. However, most of the people who entered the ruins to explore died in the ruins. Those who came back from the Mist Sea were all top-level masters in the universe. They got huge benefits in the Mist Sea, and after returning, their strength improved by leaps and bounds. Therefore, countless cosmic masters are looking for the location of the Mist Sea, breaking into the exploration, but buried in the ruins, so the Mist Sea is also called the Starry Sky Cemetery. Carlos could not resist the temptation. Relying on the fact that he was a mechanical race, he spent a high price on the Universal Civilization website to buy a black hole level mechanical body from the Universe Company, forcibly raised his strength to the peak of the black hole level, and broke into the Misty Sea. Mechanical races are different from humans. Their strength improvement is not gradual, but linked to the money in their hands. Only when they have enough property can they buy the latest technology and use the latest energy, and their strength will naturally advance by leaps and bounds. Of course, the process of making money is generally extremely long. Carlos also spent everything to upgrade himself to the peak of the black hole level. Moreover, if this black hole level mechanical body is destroyed, he will be immediately beaten back to his original form. Carlos was lucky. When he broke into the Misty Sea, he actually found a cosmic artifact, and was ready to evacuate the Misty Sea with the artifact. Who would have thought that the Eternal Protoss had been monitoring Carlos? Carlos did not tell anyone about the news that he entered the Misty Sea. However, the Eternal Protoss still got the news, and coveted this cosmic artifact, and began to hunt down Carlos. Carlos fled in panic, and could only break into a starry vortex, and ended up falling into the deepest part of the Misty Sea, unable to escape. He could only send one of his clones to drive the spaceship out of the Misty Sea, on the one hand to report the news. On the other hand, he was afraid that he would be trapped in the Misty Sea forever, so he took the risk to take the cosmic artifact out, and wanted to give it to Xia Xingchen. As a result, the Eternal Protoss chased after him, and killed Carlos's clone. Before Carlos's clone was killed, he formatted his data. Therefore, except for Carlos's original body, no one knew the whereabouts of the cosmic artifact. Chapter 1786 Choice. Teacher, according to my deduction, the Eternal Protoss has been monitoring Carlos since I went into seclusion on the Demon Vine Star, and it has been at least 3 years. The Eternal Protoss must want to get information about me from Carlos. They have been hiding for 3 years, and are about to succeed. They are actually exposed for competing for a cosmic artifact? How powerful is this cosmic artifact? Is it rare in the universe? Xia Xingchen looked puzzled and looked at Bahuang. Xingchen, you really have a treasure house and don't know the suffering of the world. That is a cosmic artifact. No wonder the Eternal Protoss went crazy. Bahuang was slightly stunned, looking at Xia Xingchen, and couldn't help shaking his head slowly. The universe is vast, and there are countless treasures hidden in the starry sky. However, there are very few treasures that can be called artifacts, and each one has unimaginable terrifying power. And among the artifacts, there are also several levels. Just like the heavenly beings are divided into galaxy level, black hole level and universe level, artifacts are also divided into these 3 levels. The cosmic level artifact is equivalent to the cosmic level among the celestial beings, and it is rare in the entire universe. If the celestial beings who possess cosmic level artifacts are not guilty of possessing a treasure, they will be killed and robbed of the treasure. then they will be able to grow into the top existence of the universe sooner or later by keeping a low profile and growing slowly and carefully. Even among the cosmic level strongmen, only a very small number of people have cosmic level artifacts. You must know that most artifacts can be copied through technology. For example, among the 10 top gods in the universe, there is a race called Hello, which has advanced technology and is good at manufacturing. They can directly extract the energy of stars to create things. As long as the extracted stellar energy is enough, and it takes enough time, theoretically, they can copy any object in the universe. They can even copy black hole level artifacts. But even the Hello clan cannot copy cosmic level artifacts. First, because the cosmic laws contained in the cosmic level artifacts are extremely profound. Even the Hello clan, whose technological level is among the best in the universe, cannot understand its laws. Second, even if the Hello tribe's technological level can reach it, the energy contained in the cosmic artifact is extremely terrifying. 10,000 years ago, a great man of the Hello tribe wanted to try to imitate a cosmic artifact. He extracted the energy of 3,000 star systems, causing these star systems to fall into an extremely cold state, killing thousands of intelligent races, including a companion race of the celestial race, which caused almost all civilized races in the universe to collectively denounce. This matter caused a huge uproar. Even the Hello tribe, as one of the top 10 races, had to compromise. In the end, the cosmic court tried this great man of the Hello tribe and sentenced him to imprisonment in the abyss of the universe for 10,000 years. From then on, the Hello tribe was unwilling to imitate cosmic artifacts. The number of cosmic artifacts is even rarer. Any cosmic artifact that goes wrong will cause countless celestial beings to covet it, setting off a bloody storm. No wonder the eternal Proteus is so crazy. Xia Xingchen showed a look of realization on his face and nodded slightly. Your friend is really lucky. Although the Misty Sea is a dangerous place, many people have tried to cross it over billions of years. Those who can cross the Misty Sea have gained something. However, I have never heard of anyone obtaining a cosmic level artifact. Bahuang couldn't help but marvel at it. Carlos broke into the deepest part of the Misty Sea and took great risks to get this cosmic level artifact. He did it not for himself, but for me. Xia Xingchen showed guilt on his face. It's all my fault. If I hadn't given Carlos the Stargate fragment and lied to him that it was an urgent matter, he wouldn't have taken such a risk to get the cosmic level artifact and ended up in prison now. Xingchen, don't blame yourself too much. Carlos has long been targeted by the Eternal Proteus. Even if he didn't open the Stargate, enter the Misty Sea, and get the cosmic level artifact, he would have been kidnapped by the Eternal Proteus sooner or later and forced to hand over the source of your faith. Now, Carlos is just trapped and has not fallen into the hands of the Eternal Proteus. There is still hope. Bahuang looked at Xia Xingchen and said in a deep voice, Carlos is a member of the mechanical clan and has a very long lifespan. The Misty Sea is an extremely dangerous place. Since Carlos has not been caught by the eternal gods yet, I believe that he is safe where he is, but he is unable to escape. For a while, the eternal gods can do nothing to him. So I suggest that you don't rush. You should refine the last ball of spiritual energy first and improve your strength as much as possible. It will not be too late to save Carlos later. This. Xia Xingchen hesitated slightly, then shook his head decisively. Teacher, although what you said makes sense, my heart is already in chaos, and it is impossible for me to practice quietly. I'm going to set off to save Carlos now. Please tell me his spatial coordinates. Xingchen, teacher supports your decision. Bahuang was silent for a while, and finally nodded slowly. His eyes fell on the spiritual energy. But how are you going to deal with this spiritual energy? I don't have time to absorb and refine this last ball of spiritual energy. This trip to the Misty Sea is full of dangers, and I don't know if I can come back. Although spiritual energy is a treasure, if it is left on the magic vine star, it will bring endless disasters to the hobbits. The hobbits have suffered too much. Xia Xingchen's eyes turned cold, and he suddenly raised his right hand, and a silver drill condensed in his palm. Whoosh! The silver drill shot out and pierced the spiritual energy that was flashing with a faint white light. In the blink of an eye, this ball of extremely precious spiritual energy completely dissipated between heaven and earth. Bahuang looked at Xia Xingchen with praise in his eyes. The word willing to give up means that you can only gain if you give up. Everyone understands the truth, but not many people can be as decisive as Xia Xingchen. Bahuang has a vague feeling that Xia Xingchen's future achievements will definitely be far above his own. Xingchen, these are the coordinates of Carlos. Bahuang raised his hand and wrote a set of numbers in the air. These were the coordinates. After Xia Xingchen wrote them down, the numbers immediately dissipated. He said, Xingchen, the Misty Sea is very serious. The eternal gods are watching closely. Go and rescue Carlos and bring him back to the Spacetime Academy immediately. I have applied to the top management of the Spacetime Academy and have obtained permission. The Spacetime Academy is willing to shelter him. Thank you, teacher. Xia Xingchen's heart trembled, and he bowed to Bahuang to thank him. Whoosh! The hobbits saw a beam of white light shooting out from the top of the pyramid temple and instantly entering the universe. God is obviously holy. The true God has awakened. Our race will prosper. Seeing this scene, the hobbits all knelt down to worship, but they didn't know that Xia Xingchen was already several light years away. Chapter 1787 Breaking in. Whoosh! In the dark starry sky, golden light flickered, and the shadow of a golden mecha slowly emerged. In the cockpit of the mecha, Xia Xingchen looked at the vast starfield in front of him. This starfield is a legendary misty sea, located in the edge of the universe, 50 light years long and 10 light years wide, which can be called vast. The misty sea starfield is covered with a layer of light mist that never dissipates all year round, and visibility is extremely low. Even the detector with the highest technological level can only detect a distance of no more than 1,000 kilometers. As for the composition of the mist, it is still a mystery. Among the 10 peak gods, 7 races have established observation stations and research institutes on the edge of the misty sea, but nothing has been found so far. In the universe, there are many races that believe in the creator god. They believe that the existence of the Misty Sea is proof of the existence of the creator god. Because the Misty Sea is extremely special, it is obviously an artificial creation, not the result of the natural evolution of the universe. But if it is an artificial creation, what race built this starfield, and for what purpose? No one knows. Xia Xingchen was looking at the Mist Sea in front of him on the mecha. On the way, he collected a lot of information about the Mist Sea from the Universal Civilization Network. The existence of the Mist Sea is extremely long. There are even ancient races claiming that the Mist Sea has existed since the birth of the universe. The Mist Sea is divided into 3 layers. The first layer is called the mist area. You need to pass through the vast mist to reach the second layer. The mist area is not only mist, but also violent space storms. Only black hole level strongmen have a 70% chance of passing through this area. The second layer is called the meteorite area, which is full of billions of meteorites. Meteorites have different chemical properties. Some are highly toxic, some have abnormal gravity, and some emit deadly radiation. In short, these meteorites all contain unpredictable and deadly dangers. There are also many dangerous star beasts in the meteorite area. Once adventurers break into their territory, they will be attacked crazily. Only universe-level strongmen can pass through the meteorite area. As for the third layer, it is called the core area. There are many different opinions about the situation in the core area. Some people say that the core area is a huge planet. Others say that the core area is an unknown continent. Some even say that the core area is the tomb of the gods. However, there are many common points among all the statements. One is that the core area is full of treasures. Second, the core area is very dangerous, and even the cosmic level has a huge risk of falling. Before Xia Xingchen set off, Bahuang specifically told him not to enter the core area, no matter what happened. Because, even Bahuang, as the supervisor, may be directly annihilated if he enters the core area. Carlos gathered the fragments of the Stargate, opened the Stargate, and was directly teleported to the edge of the core area of the Mist Sea, where he found the cosmic artifact. Otherwise, with Carlos's strength, it would not even be possible to break through the first layer of the mist area. And now, Carlos is hiding in the depths of the meteorite area. If the exact location is not known, Even the eternal gods dare not barge in. I'm a mecha master, and I have condensed the faith mecha, so my combat power is strong. I have also absorbed 2 groups of spiritual energy on the demon vine star. My strength has reached the peak of the black hole level. I can fight against ordinary universe level enemies. It should not be difficult to get through the first layer of mist. Xia Xingchen thought secretly in his heart, but he did not dare to neglect it at all. Although he searched a lot of information on the Universal Civilization Network, and the 8 Desolations also gave Xia Xingchen a lot of information. However, no matter how much information there is, it is all collected from other people's experiences, which is completely different from his own experience. Xia Xingchen suddenly remembered the story of the pony crossing the river that his father told him when he was a child, and a smile appeared on his face. You have to try it yourself to know how deep the water is. Whoosh! Xia Xingchen took a deep breath, drove the mecha, and broke into the misty starry sky without hesitation. In an instant, Xia Xingchen was surrounded by a layer of light mist, and the starry sky in the distance became unclear, as if covered by a layer of gauze. All the detection devices of the mecha failed. Even the most basic spatial positioning failed. It couldn't tell east from west, south from north, and even up from down. It was all white. Xia Xingchen subconsciously stepped back, but was shocked to find that his back was already covered with white fog. No matter how many meters he stepped back, it was still a white fog. Xia Xingchen knew very well that he was very careful when he entered the mist area. He entered tentatively and could not be more than 10 meters away from the edge of the mist. But now, he was surrounded by mist on all sides and could not retreat at all. What a strange place. Xia Xingchen frowned slightly. He had just entered the mist area and he noticed the unusualness of this starfield. Omniscience domain, open. Xia Xingchen shouted in a low voice, and the power of the domain quickly spread, covering the starfield where the faith mecha was located. Even if it was covered by mist, it could not stop the detection of the omniscience domain. A panoramic view immediately appeared in Xia Xingchen's mind. This starfield was empty. Except for the ubiquitous mist, there was nothing. Fortunately, although this mist can interfere with scientific instruments, it cannot block spiritual power. Xia Xingchen smiled, but after a moment, the smile on his face slowly faded. Originally, Xia Xingchen's omniscience domain had spread to 1,000,000 kilometers away. At this moment, it only spread to 10,000 kilometers and stagnated. You know, this is when Xia Xingchen absorbed 2 groups of spiritual energy and his own spiritual power was greatly improved. Otherwise, Xia Xingchen's omniscience domain might only extend 5,000 to 6,000 kilometers. Whether it is 5,000 to 6,000 kilometers or 10,000 kilometers, it sounds very far, but in the starry sky, this distance is nothing at all. Even the ordinary spacecraft of the Tang Dynasty group can reach more than this distance with one acceleration. The suppression of mental power by the mist is so severe. Xia Xingchen frowned. I'm exploring at such a close distance. What's the difference between me and a blind man? The scope of the entire mist sea is not large, but, at this speed, even a cosmic level powerhouse would not be able to explore it all. After spending 1,000,000 years, Xia Xingchen was worried about Carlos, so he could only condense a layer of starry sky barrier on the surface of the mecha, relying on the protective ability of the faith mecha, and risking a fast flight. After flying hundreds of millions of kilometers, Xia Xingchen suddenly frowned. He felt a powerful energy in front of him that seemed to be able to crush everything. The moment this energy touched the starry sky barrier that could resist the attack of black hole level powerhouses was shattered at the touch of a button and instantly turned into countless light spots. Chapter 1788 Cosmic Storm. It's a cosmic storm. Xia Xingchen was shocked, and his face changed suddenly. As soon as he thought about it, the faith mecha had already reacted and retreated rapidly. In the first layer of the mist sea, in addition to the strange mist that is everywhere, the most dangerous thing is the cosmic storm. Cosmic storms are very common in the universe, just like a storm on the sea. In normal space navigation, once the detection device on the spacecraft observes a cosmic storm, it will immediately change the route to avoid it. But in the mist area, due to the existence of the mist, all detection devices fail, and even mental detection is greatly suppressed. Once a cosmic storm is discovered, it is already in front of you and cannot be avoided. The energy contained in the cosmic storm is extremely terrifying. Once a normal galaxy-level strongman falls into the cosmic storm, he will be torn apart immediately. Only strongmen above the black hole level can resist it with their strong bodies, spaceships, or defensive cosmic secret treasures. But even if they can withstand the energy impact of the cosmic storm, they will be lost in the storm. Only cosmic level strongmen standing at the top of the universe can rely on their own strength to break through the cosmic storm. But most cosmic level masters will not take risks, but will enter their own space treasures and wait for the storm to pass before moving forward. When Xia Xingchen found that the cosmic storm was in front of him, he immediately retreated and flew backwards to escape. Boom. 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 The cosmic storm carries the endless power of heaven and earth, and its speed is extremely fast, exceeding 10 million kilometers per second. The range of the cosmic storm is extremely wide, with a range of more than 100 million kilometers up and down. It is impossible to bypass it. Xia Xingchen can only desperately flee to the back. It's chasing so fast. Xia Xingchen looked at the cosmic storm that was approaching behind him and secretly complained in his heart. Xia Xingchen had just entered the Mist Sea when he encountered the cosmic storm. According to the information on the Universal Civilization website, there are not a few black hole level people who died in cosmic storms in history. Even cosmic level masters have been lost in the cosmic storms in the mist area and finally disappeared. Whoosh. Xia Xingchen tried his best to escape desperately, but his mental power was suppressed, and the detection range of the omniscient field was reduced, making it even more impossible to make a jump. The terrifying cosmic storm was like a huge cosmic beast, pressing forward step by step, getting closer and closer to Xia Xingchen. 10,000 kilometers. 8,000 kilometers. 5,000 kilometers. I can't hold on any longer. Xia Xingchen looked at the cosmic storm, which was less than 1,000 kilometers away from him, and his heart sank. If he was swallowed by the cosmic storm, even if Xia Xingchen could resist it, he would be washed away to a place several light years away, unable to tell east, south, west, north, and lost in the vast white fog. Huh. There's an asteroid ahead? Xia Xingchen was shocked to find that there was a planet in the starry sky not far ahead. This planet was not big in size, and was constantly attacked by cosmic storms. The mass of the planet was extremely large and extremely solid. Even in the waves of cosmic storms, it could stand still. This gravity was nothing to Xia Xingchen. Quick! It's not far ahead, on that asteroid to avoid the space storm. Xia Xingchen was delighted, and all his mental power was poured into the faith mech, turning into a stream of light, and flying towards the asteroid. Here we are. The faith mech finally reached the asteroid and landed on the surface. The planet was barren and its surface was extremely smooth, like a pebble washed in a river. The composition of the entire planet was very simple, mainly gold, silver and cobalt. Squeak. Xia Xingchen's eyes focused, and the right arm of the faith mech turned into a rumbling drill and drilled into the hard surface of the planet. Fire splashed. Xia Xingchen was sweating, and he used all his strength to drill a depression of more than 10 meters on this asteroid, and the faith mech hid in it. Xia Xingchen had just hid in it, and before he had time to breathe, he felt a fierce cosmic storm sweeping over from above. Boom. 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 The mighty cosmic storm roared and hit the asteroid fiercely, but this asteroid was extremely solid, like a reef standing in the sea. It had long been accustomed to this terrifying power of heaven and earth, and did not move. Xia Xingchen drove the mecha and hid in the depression, only to feel that his body was unstable and could be lifted up by the cosmic storm at any time. He gritted his teeth and persisted bitterly. I don't know how long it lasted. The cosmic storm gradually subsided. Xia Xingchen was sweating and exhausted. He lay on the floor of the mecha, gasping for breath. When facing the universe, Xia Xingchen felt that he was so small. Even if he is a cosmic level strongman, what can he count for in front of the vast power of the universe? Xia Xingchen thought secretly in his heart, slowly raised his head, and his face suddenly changed. Xia Xingchen was shocked to find that the cosmic storm had not subsided. He was now in the core area of the cosmic storm. Just like the eye of the typhoon, the storm will temporarily subside, and the same is true for the cosmic storm. A short period of calm means future storms. What should I do? Xia Xingchen's heart trembled, and the omniscience field spread out. Suddenly, he found that there was a canyon not far away, thousands of kilometers long and hundreds of kilometers wide, like a scar on a planet. At the bottom of the canyon, there was a wreckage of a spaceship. Spaceship wreckage? Xia Xingchen's heart moved. He was sure that it must be the wreckage of a spaceship. It should be the previous adventurer who encountered a cosmic storm and fell here. I don't know how long this spaceship wreckage has been gone. What race left it behind? Xia Xingchen's heart trembled, and he drove the mecha to fly towards the bottom of the canyon. Soon, Xia Xingchen arrived in front of the wreckage of the spaceship. The wreckage of the spaceship was extremely broken, even the sealed door was open, and the interior of the spaceship was already in a vacuum state. Xia Xingchen's omniscience scanned, and found that there was no sign of life in the spaceship. Xia Xingchen carefully pushed open the hatch, and entered the interior of the spaceship. The decoration inside the spaceship was simple, with simple geometric shapes, similar to humans. It seemed that it should be a spaceship left by a technological race with a similar technological level to humans. Xia Xingchen went directly to the core area of the spaceship, and found that the spaceship's optical brain was still intact, but the energy was exhausted, and it was in a dormant state. Xia Xingchen's heart moved, and he took out a universal energy battery from the portable space, and plugged it into the interface of the spaceship. Beep beep beep. The optical brain screen suddenly lit up, and lines of numbers appeared and disappeared above the screen. A line of information appeared on the screen. This is the Traveler Clan, the vast I-type optical computer, codenamed 978, at your service. Traveler Clan. Xia Xingchen searched for information about the Traveler Clan in his brain, but found nothing. Obviously, the Traveler Clan's civilization level is not high, otherwise their history is extremely long, and the main race is likely to be extinct, and is not among the civilized races on the Universal Civilization Network. Otherwise, Xia Xingchen would not have heard of it. Chapter 1789 Targeting. Hello, vast optical computer 978. I need information about the Traveler Clan and this spaceship. Can you provide it to me? Xia Xingchen walked to the screen of the optical computer and asked. Of course. The optical computer replied. Swish. The screen flashed, and a large amount of information appeared on it, all about the Traveler Clan and this spaceship. Xia Xingchen looked at it carefully. The Traveler Clan, like most races in the universe, is not physically strong, but is good at technology. The overall technological level is similar to that of the Galactic Empire, and has not yet been promoted to heaven. As for this spaceship, named Far Away, the reason for its fall is the same as Xia Xingchen's. Both encountered a cosmic storm, and lost their way in the mist area. The entire Far Away spaceship, with a total of 132 people, persisted for 30 years, and the energy of the spaceship was exhausted. The life support system could not work, and all died. Xia Xingchen sighed in his heart. However, in the vast universe, the experience of the faraway spaceship is very common. In the long history of human exploration of the universe, there are thousands of spaceships lost in the sea of stars. Many spaceships are still missing. Facing the universe, all life forms are very small. Xia Xingchen did not find any useful information in the optical computer of the faraway. The only thing worth noting is that the faraway has fallen for a long time, nearly 1 million years. During this 1 million years, 4 waves of adventurers encountered space storms, discovered the fallen faraway, and left messages on the optical computer of the faraway. I'm Manbalin, a black hole level human strongman. I was exploring the misty sea and was trapped by the space storm. Fortunately, the storm subsided after 10 days, and I had the opportunity to leave. I'm a galaxy level Zerg Bone Eater. I was also trapped by the space storm. After 7 days, the storm stopped. I'm the mechanical race number 001. After 3 days, the storm subsided. Xia Xingchen did not find the bodies of these adventurers in the cabin of the faraway, and their messages on the optical computer showed that they all left safely. This discovery made Xia Xingchen feel a little relieved. Since other adventurers were able to leave safely, including even galaxy-level adventurers, Xia Xingchen believed that with his own strength, he would be able to leave this place safely. In the next few days, Xia Xingchen stayed on the faraway spaceship and waited for the cosmic storm to weaken. However, 3 days later, the cosmic storm not only did not weaken, but became even more violent. The outer cabin of the faraway spaceship was torn by the space storm, making a harsh metallic whine. The entire spaceship was also shaking violently, as if it could be torn apart at any time. Xia Xingchen stood in the cabin, looking at the terrifying storm outside, frowning. According to Xia Xingchen's omniscience detection, the metal fatigue value of the faraway spaceship has reached its peak. However, the faraway has fallen here for more than 1,000,000 years, and has always been safe and sound. Could it be that it can't survive this time? Such a terrifying cosmic storm, even I'm not sure I can leave safely. How can the other waves of adventurers leave? There are also galaxy level ones among them. Could it be that the storm I encountered this time is more violent than this? Xia Xingchen thought secretly in his heart. My luck seems to be a bit bad when I entered the mist sea this time. Xia Xingchen felt a strange feeling in his heart. From the moment he entered the misty sea, Xia Xingchen's heart kept surging with this feeling, and it was especially strong now. In the depths of the universe, it seemed that there was a pair of eyes watching him. This feeling made Xia Xingchen very uncomfortable. Maybe it's an illusion. Xia Xingchen suppressed the strange feeling in his heart and waited patiently for another 4 days. The storm became more violent, with no sign of stopping at all. A hatch of the faraway spacecraft was torn off and flew into the dark starry sky, instantly turning into dust. Why do I feel that this storm seems to be coming towards me? Xia Xingchen stood up suddenly and stared at the dark universe. Xia Xingchen also felt that his thoughts were outrageous. Only underage children would think that they are the center of the universe. When they encounter setbacks, they will think that everyone is targeting him. Even the whole world is targeting him. Xia Xingchen has long passed this stage. But he is a black hole level strongman, and he is good at psychic abilities, and his sixth sense is very sharp. Xia Xingchen felt for sure that this storm was not simple and was coming towards him. In order to confirm his idea, Xia Xingchen searched in the optical brain and found a wave peak diagram. This wave peak diagram records the energy level of the cosmic storm in this starfield for 1,000,000 years. Everything in the universe is regular, including this seemingly disordered cosmic storm. From the graph, the strength of the cosmic storm is regular, and every 66 years is a cycle. At the time when Xia Xingchen broke in now, the cosmic storm should be in a weakening period, and it is impossible to be so violent. Even in 1,000,000 years, there has never been such a violent cosmic storm. Moreover, the cause of this cosmic storm is also very strange, which is exactly the same as the time when Xia Xingchen broke into the mist sea. It was like a living star beast, and the moment Xia Xingchen broke in, it suddenly pounced on him. It's coming for me. Although there is still little evidence, I believe in my perception. Xia Xingchen turned off the optical brain without any hesitation and drove the faith match directly, rushed out of the faraway, and rushed towards the violent cosmic storm. Since you are coming for me, I will fight you. Isn't it just a cosmic storm? I, Xia Xingchen, have never been afraid of any difficulties. Xia Xingchen smiled coldly and rushed into the storm. Boom. The faith match broke into the cosmic storm, like a leaf in a torrent, and was swept away in an instant. At the last moment, Xia Xingchen found that after he left, the cosmic storm near the faraway suddenly weakened. Is someone really targeting me? This storm is indeed coming for me. But who is so powerful that he can mobilize the cosmic storm to target me? Could it be the eternal gods? But the eternal gods can't have such a terrifying power. Xia Xingchen is more convinced of his judgment. But no matter who it is, even if it is a cosmic god, no matter what means you use to stop me, it will not change my determination to break into the misty sea. I must save Carlos, even if I die. Xia Xingchen roared in his heart. For my friends, I'm willing to give everything. No one can stop me. In front of my mecha, any difficulty will be crushed and turned into dust. Cosmic storm, come on. Be more violent. You can't stop me. Chapter 1790 Gathering Place. The 10 Secret Realms of the Universe. The Sea of Mist. The first layer of the misty area is shrouded in fog, with extremely low visibility, raging cosmic storms, and full of dangers. Whoosh! A golden light shuttled through the cosmic storm at an astonishing speed. Xia Xingchen has been caught in the cosmic storm for nearly a month, and is still wandering in the storm, and has not escaped. It's been a month. The cosmic storm is really strong. Although I can resist it, it's not that easy to escape. In the cockpit of the Faith Mech, Xia Xingchen stared at the dark starry sky in front of him. However, this month is not without gains. A smile slowly emerged on Xia Xingchen's face. The Faith Mech burst out with golden light all over its body, turning into a layer of golden armor. The cosmic storm hit the armor and dissipated directly. Xia Xingchen was trapped in the cosmic storm, his life was threatened, but it stimulated his potential, and a blessing in disguise, condensed the Faith Armor. The Faith Armor is composed of golden spiritual crystals, indestructible, and its defense ability is even better than the space-time armor. The Faith Armor is also the first mecha component condensed by the Faith Armor. It is of great significance to Xia Xingchen. I spent 3 years on the Demon Vine Star, absorbing 2 groups of spiritual energy, and storing a huge amount of spiritual energy in my body. However, this energy is dead, and has not been completely transformed and used by me. After this month's experience, the conversion rate of spiritual energy has reached 90%. This is a great achievement. Xia Xingchen drove the Faith Armor through the cosmic storm. Due to the existence of the Faith Armor, the originally powerful cosmic storm could no longer threaten him. But, this cosmic storm is really weird. According to the information on the Universal Civilization Network, ordinary cosmic storms will last for a maximum of 10 days, and will gradually subside. The cosmic storm that besieged me has lasted for a month and there is still no sign of weakening. If I didn't have the Faith Armor to protect me, and the source of faith continuously provided energy, I'm afraid I would really die in this mist area. Xia Xingchen recalled his experience in this month and couldn't help but feel a chill. I wasted a month. I hope Carlos is still safe. Xia Xingchen was always worried about Carlos. 10 days later, a golden light passed through the white mist and broke out from it. Xia Xingchen spent another 10 days and finally broke through the mist area. Boom. It was as if there was an invisible wall. Not only could the mist not pass through, but even the fierce space storm was isolated. Break out. Finally break out of this damn place. Xia Xingchen turned around and looked at the mist area behind him. His face could not hide the excitement. This journey was too difficult and full of dangers. There were several times when he almost died. However, the mist area is the easiest place in the mist sea. Next is the second layer of meteorite area and the third layer of core area. Fortunately, Carlos is hiding deep in the meteorite area, and I don't need to enter the third layer of core area. With the experience of the mist area, Xia Xingchen already knew his own weight. It is so difficult to break through the mist area, and it must be even more difficult to break through the meteorite area. As for the core area, Xia Xingchen didn't even dare to think about it. If I rush into the core area rashly, I'm afraid it will be the same as what Teacher Bahang said. My body will be annihilated as soon as I enter. Turning his head, Xia Xingchen stared at the second level meteorite area. 100,000 kilometers ahead is a circular meteorite belt, which is as long as 1 billion kilometers and 500 million kilometers high. It is extremely spectacular. In the meteorite belt, there are densely packed meteorites, some large and some small, blocking the line of sight and making it impossible to see what is inside. The third level core area is in the center of the meteorite area. Xia Xingchen suddenly raised his head. He felt a lot of energy fluctuations transmitted from a huge meteorite in front of him. He looked over intently and saw various spacecraft parked next to the huge meteorite. Is this the rumored gathering place of the meteorite area? Xia Xingchen recalled the information on the Universal Civilization Network. The range of the mist area is extremely wide. Entering from any coordinates will result in the same result. You will fall into the white mist and lose your way. The range of the meteorite area is relatively much smaller. There are countless meteorites in the meteorite area, and each meteorite hides unknown risks. However, the location of the meteorites is fixed. The misty sea has existed for a very long time. After tens of millions of years of exploration, countless pathfinders have been killed and injured before 3 relatively safe routes leading to the core area have been explored. And the starting point of the safe route is naturally where many celestial beings gather. Xia Xingchen is in front of one of the gathering places. Well, there may be eternal gods in the gathering place. I have to be careful and disguise my identity. Xia Xingchen's heart moved, and he immediately turned on the camouflage device. Not only did his appearance change, turning into a cold human in a black robe with curved sharp horns on his head, but even his mental fluctuations also changed slightly, from the peak of the black hole level to the galaxy level. A tree stands out in the forest, and the wind will destroy it. The peak of the black hole level is rare in the universe. Every black hole peak is a well-known figure in the universe, attracting the attention of others, and it is not convenient to hide his identity. As for the faith mecha, it was originally formed by the condensation of spiritual power. The appearance of the transformation is simpler, and it becomes a very common black mecha in the universe, with the model name Primitive. Whoosh! Xia Xingchen drove the black primitive mecha, and flew towards the meteorite gathering place. Outside the gathering place, there were large and small spaceships parked, including human interstellar battleships, mechanical flying saucers, and even brown Zerg Mother Nest spaceships. The gathering place was a bare black meteorite with a diameter of 300 kilometers. On the meteorite, there were some simple houses and temporary tents, all made with the power of creation. Before Xia Xingchen landed on the meteorite, a ray of light flew over immediately. Are you a newcomer who just broke through the mist area? Log in your identity information here, and get permission to land in the gathering place. It was a black hole level energy body strongman, with a silver body, a flying shuttle on his feet, and a cold look. Luo Chen. Star Trek Sea level mercenary, galaxy level. Xia Xingchen had prepared his identity information long ago, and took out his Star Trek mercenary badge, and handed it to the silver energy body strongman. You are alone at the galaxy level? The silver energy body was a little bit unbelievable, looking at Xia Xingchen in surprise. Although the mist area is the first layer, it is extremely dangerous. Not to mention the galaxy level, even the universe level has lost in the mist area and eventually perished. Therefore, the celestial beings all go into the mist area together, so that they can take care of each other if they encounter any trouble. It is really incredible to go into the mist area alone. I encountered a storm, and got separated from my companions. Xia Xingchen whispered. Oh, then you are lucky, but your companions may not be as lucky as you. I mourn for them. There are not many galaxy level here, but you are a Star Trek mercenary, and no one dares to bully you. The silver energy body nodded. Although Xia Xingchen is only at the galaxy level, his tone is very polite, and he does not mean to be contemptuous. The Star Trek mercenary group is one of the 3 major mercenary organizations of the human race. Although its status is far inferior to that of the Spacetime Academy, it still has some reputation. Chapter 1791 Utilization. Star Trek Sea level mercenary Luo Chen, you have passed the review, and can enter the gathering place. You can stay in the gathering place for free for 24 hours. If you exceed 24 hours, you must pay a detention fee. The silver energy body looked at Xia Xingchen and said, however, I advise you not to enter the meteorite area with your strength. You should spend money to hire a black hole level strongman to send you out of the Misty Sea. The Misty Sea is not a place for a weak person like you to come. Whoosh. After saying that, the silver energy body strongman left. Xia Xingchen thanked him, then drove the mecha and slowly landed on the meteorite. As soon as Xia Xingchen landed, several celestial beings immediately surrounded him. There are newcomers. Galaxy level? It's too weak. There's not much oil and water. A mosquito is also meat. Galaxy level people who can break into the meteorite area may have some treasures on them. 2 of the black hole level celestial beings had a snicker on their faces and did not hide the ill intentions in their eyes. The secret realm of the Misty Sea is a lawless place. Among the celestial beings who broke into the Misty Sea, there were adventurers, mercenaries, and some children of large cosmic races who came to take the test. But there were more lawless bandits. They had all committed serious crimes and fled to such places in order to escape the punishment of the laws of the celestial world. These bandits would not take the morality and laws of the celestial world seriously. Once they found that Xia Xingchen had something to gain, they would kill people and rob treasures. Xia Xingchen stood there, looking at these ill-intentioned celestial bandits, with a cold look in his eyes. If they dared to attack him, Xia Xingchen would not mind teaching them a lesson. You guys, get out of here. Didn't you see that he is from Xingyi? You dare to even set your sights on Xingyi's mercenaries. You are really tired of living. Suddenly, there was a loud shout, and a human man in black armor came over from the side. He had a piece of emerald green scales on his head, and it seemed that he had some Zerg blood. Ah, it's Banziji. It's really unlucky. I met Banziji. He's the most protective of his own. Let's go. When these evil celestial beings saw the black armored man Banziji, their faces suddenly changed, and they immediately dispersed. The other celestial beings around who wanted to attack Xia Xingchen also looked gloomy at this moment, and went to look for other targets. Banziji. Xia Xingchen was slightly startled. He had heard of this name when he was in the Star Trek mercenary group. Banziji was one of the 3S level mercenaries in the Star Trek mercenary group. He was a cosmic level strongman with an extremely loud reputation. He had been carrying out missions in the wilderness of the universe. He was a big man who was rarely seen. A few years ago, when Xia Xingchen first entered the Star Trek, he heard some legends about Banziji and admired him. Unexpectedly, Xia Xingchen would meet Banziji in person today. Little guy, I'm Banziji. Since you are from the Star Trek, you should have heard of my name. Banziji looked at Xia Xingchen with disdain. Of course I have heard of it. Xia Xingchen said honestly. Then you should know that in Star Trek, my orders are more effective than those shitty counselors. Sea-level mercenary Luo Chen, I order you to leave this place immediately. Banziji shouted sternly, this is not a place for a galaxy-level guy like you to come. God knows how you got through that damn mist. Banziji's attitude was very bad, even arrogant. However, Xia Xingchen felt warm in his heart, and had some good feelings for this big guy with Zerg blood. Banziji was right. The Mist Sea was too dangerous, and it was indeed not a place for galaxy-level people to come. My lord, Xia Xingchen said in a deep voice, I know everything you said, but I have a reason to come. I came here to find someone. Nonsense. Isn't it just looking for Carlos? Banziji snorted coldly. Hearing this, Xia Xingchen's brain suddenly burst, and his face changed drastically. Xia Xingchen was very confident in his disguise and thought he could hide from the mental detection of the universe-level strongman. But he didn't expect that Banziji could see through his disguise at a glance. How did he know I was looking for Carlos? He knew I was Xia Xingchen? Could he be a spy of the eternal gods? Xia Xingchen was very nervous. His heart was in his throat. His right hand tightly grasped the joystick of the mecha. If there was any disturbance, he would rush out of the gathering place first. Don't say you are looking for Carlos. I'm also looking for him. There were only a dozen people in the gathering place, but now there are suddenly hundreds of them, and 99% of them are looking for Carlos. People who are well informed know that Carlos, the mechanical race, has found a cosmic artifact, which is now hidden somewhere in the meteorite area. As long as Carlos is found, it is equivalent to finding a cosmic artifact. Banziji did not notice that Xia Xingchen's face was different, and he continued to talk to himself, with greed on his face. That is a cosmic artifact. Even Banziji does not have a cosmic artifact in his hand. Xia Xingchen breathed a sigh of relief. It was not that his identity was exposed, but a misunderstanding. It turns out that the Eternal Protoss has spread the news. Everyone here wants to find Carlos, snatch the cosmic artifact from him, and take it for themselves. In other words, my enemy is not just the Eternal Protoss, but everyone. Even this S-level Star Trek mercenary in front of me. Xia Xingchen's face sank. He saw the greed on Banziji's face, and the little bit of good feelings he had for him disappeared. Carlos is a Star Trek mercenary. No matter how low his status in Star Trek is, he is still a formal member of Star Trek. Banziji, as a senior member of Star Trek, saw his subordinates in trouble, but he didn't think about helping, but wanted to snatch treasures from his subordinates. Xia Xingchen was already very disappointed with Star Trek, and now he is even more disappointed. Since you are unkind, don't blame me for being unjust. Xia Xingchen looked at Banziji, and sneered in his heart. Anyway, C-class mercenary Luo Chen, I order you to leave immediately. Bansaki waved his hand impatiently and shouted, "I have something important to do. I don't have time to dawdle with you here. My lord. I have a secret." Xia Xingchen lowered his voice and said, "I will only tell you one person. The secret about Carlos. Bansaki raised his eyebrows and looked at Xia Xingchen deeply. Although he seemed rude, he was very careful. He reached out and pulled Xia Xingchen into his private space. This is a red world with a radius of 10 kilometers. There is boiling magma on the ground and the air is full of the choking smell of sulfur. Bansaki is a cosmic level strongman with the ability to open up space. Speak. This is my space. No one can eavesdrop on our conversation." Bansaki said, "My lord, a big man, like you may not know Carlos. He was also a Star Trek mercenary." Xia Xingchen said, "Of course I know." Bansaki snorted coldly, "Get to the point. Carlos set up a plantation on the Hanging Star and made a small fortune, so he had the money to collect Stargate fragments and finally obtained a cosmic level treasure. In order to protect this plantation, Carlos hired a lot of Star Trek mercenaries. Of course, they were all low-level mercenaries, and you certainly didn't know them. And I'm one of them. I accidentally overheard a distress signal that Carlos sent to Xia Xingchen, and I knew his exact location." Xia Xingchen said, "If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels." Chapter 1792 Intrigue. Luo Chen, are you telling the truth? Do you really know the exact location of Carlos? Bansaki was very excited. He walked up and grabbed Xia Xingchen's shoulders tightly, staring at his eyes with a pair of green eyes. "It's absolutely true." Xia Xingchen nodded. "If I didn't know the exact location of Carlos, how could I, a small galaxy-level person, dare to venture into the Misty Sea? The temptation of the cosmic level artifact is too great, so I wanted to fight for it. I didn't expect that the Misty Sea is too dangerous. It's not a place for a weak person like me to come." Xia Xingchen sighed deeply, frowned, and looked regretful. "That's right. Your strength is indeed too weak. If there is no great temptation, you really shouldn't have entered the Misty Sea." However, Bansaki was not a person who was easily credulous. He still doubted Xia Xingchen's words. After a moment of silence, he said, "Carlos occupied the Hanging Star and built a plant research institute on it. I have also heard about this. Tell me, which mercenary teams are responsible for guarding the Hanging Star? Who are the captains? And which team do you belong to?" The several mercenary teams responsible for the defense of Hanging Star were all selected by Xia Xingchen himself. With his photographic memory, he naturally answered fluently. Bansaki listened to the side with a cold face and no expression, as if he was listening. However, his eyes were fixed on Xia Xingchen's face, trying to see some clues from his expression. Bansaki traveled in the wilderness of the universe for many years, and he didn't even know the situation of the Zingi mercenary group in recent years. How could he know the movements and members of several low-level mercenary teams? Bansaki was deceiving Xia Xingchen. After all, in his eyes, Xia Xingchen was just a small galaxy level. Facing himself, a powerful cosmic level and a big shot of the Star Trek mercenary group. If he was lying, he would definitely feel guilty, his words would be ambiguous, and his eyes would be evasive. However, Xia Xingchen had a calm face and extremely clear thoughts, and he described the situation of Hanging Star clearly. Even Carlos and Xia Xingchen's appearance and personality traits were described. Benzaji was shocked. Carlos was fine. Xia Xingchen was a big shot. Originally, Xia Xingchen was a mercenary of Star Trek like Carlos. Later, by chance, he joined the Spacetime Academy and took a supervisor as his teacher. 3 years ago, Xia Xingchen killed the Elder, leaving the entire Elder tribe with nothing. Such a shocking event in the starry sky, even if Benzaji was ignorant, had heard of it. Although Xia Xingchen had a great reputation, he was a low-key person and lived in the Spacetime Academy for many years. Few people had seen his true face. There is very little information about Xia Xingchen on the Universal Civilization website, which casts a veil of mystery over him. As a senior member of the Star Trek mercenary group, Bansaki has naturally seen Xia Xingchen's detailed information. And this information is a top secret document of the Star Trek mercenary group. Luo Chen, the sea-level mercenary in front of him, is naturally not qualified to view it. But Luo Chen described the information of Xia Xingchen and Colossus in such detail. It seems that he may really be a member of the mercenary team guarding the hanging star. After some thought, Bansaki believed Xia Xingchen 60% to 70%. When he thought that he could find Carlos first and take the universe-level artifact for himself, his eyes could not hide his greed. Luo Chen, words are not enough. I still can't completely believe you. Bansaki already had a number in his mind, but he was cunning and still shook his head. Since you don't believe me, I can't do anything. Xia Xingchen pretended to be very regretful, but he sneered in his heart. He had seen through Bansaki's thoughts a long time ago, and said in a deep voice, my companions and I are too weak, and have too low vision. We underestimated the danger of the Misty Sea and thought we could break through the Misty Sea and find Carlos in the meteorite area. Alas, if my companions were all there, there would be a glimmer of hope. Now there is no hope at all. I originally wanted to tell this information to you, just hoping that you would give me some points in the Star Trek mercenary group, and promote me in the mercenary group in the future. Since you don't believe it, I will just sell this information to others. You are not going to break into the meteorite area. Bansaki was stunned. The meteorite area is so dangerous, why should I go there? Xia Xingchen asked curiously. I don't have much pursuit, and I'm too weak. Even if I get a cosmic level artifact, I can only hide in the meteorite area like Carlos. Once I leave the meteorite area, I will be killed and robbed of my treasure by other cosmic level powers. I would rather exchange this information for some tangible benefits. Your request is not excessive. A man of insight is a hero. You are very good. Bansaki looked at Xia Xingchen deeply, and now he believed it by 80%. Sir, if you want this information, please make a decision quickly. Xia Xingchen said, I'm not urging you. First, although I was separated from my companions, they were most likely buried in the cosmic storm in the mist area. However, I did not see their bodies after all. They may still be alive. Their mouths are not as tight as mine. Maybe Colossus' location coordinates have been leaked at this moment. Second, Xia Xingchen should have received the news and rushed to the Misty Sea. Who is Xia Xingchen? Bansaki snorted coldly with disdain on his face. Isn't he just a black hole level? If it weren't for the support of the Space-Time Academy, I could crush him to death with just one finger. However, if this news leaks out, other cosmic level old guys will come here after hearing the news, which will be a bit troublesome. Bansaki's eyes condensed, and he finally made a decision. He grabbed Xia Xingchen's shoulders and shouted, Luochen boy, I will believe you this time. But you must go to the meteorite area with me. If you dare to tell a lie, I will kill you. Sir. Hearing what Bansaki said, Xia Xingchen was delighted, but he cried out with a sad face, the meteorite area is so dangerous, I will definitely die there, if I go there. I'm still young, and don't want to die yet. What are you afraid of? I'm here to keep you safe. Bansaki said, let's go. Time waits for no one. Let's go to the meteorite area now. Whoosh. Bansaki took Xia Xingchen out of the private space and returned to the gathering place. Without any stop, he flew directly to the meteorite area. Where are the coordinates? Bansaki asked. Oh, 23, 14, 59, 66. Xia Xingchen did not hesitate and quickly reported a set of numbers. This set of numbers is the coordinates of the meteorite hidden by Carlos. After hearing this, Bansaki frowned and whispered, why did Carlos run to that unfamiliar area that has not been explored yet? No wonder the Eternal Proteus can't find him. Sir, is the place where Colossus is too dangerous? Otherwise, let's go back. You can let me go back alone. I'm afraid of death, and I'm still young. Xia Xingchen pretended to be afraid of death and said with a sad face, don't make a noise. I'm here. What are you afraid of? When I find Carlos, I will let you go. What's more, I'm a man of my words. After the matter is accomplished, I will definitely promote you in the Star Trek mercenary group. Bansaki still didn't trust Xia Xingchen and refused to let him go, but a dangerous light flashed in the depths of his eyes. Chapter 1793 The Sleeper. Seeing this look from Bansaki, Xia Xingchen's heart skipped a beat, and he immediately understood that he had already started to kill. If Carlos could not be found, Bansaki would definitely kill him in a rage. Even if Carlos was found, and Bansaki snatched the cosmic artifact, would he fulfill his promise and let him go? Just kidding. Xia Xingchen was not so naive. Bansaki would definitely kill him. First, although Bansaki was a cosmic level strongman, he did not want the news that he had obtained the cosmic level artifact to spread. Second, Carlos was a member of the Star Trek mercenary group after all. Bansaki killed Carlos and snatched the cosmic level artifact. With his lofty status in the mercenary group, naturally no one dared to say anything, but it would always have a bad impact. Bansaki did not want the tall image he had worked so hard to build to collapse because of this. In short, Bansaki had made up his mind to kill. Xia Xingchen followed Bansaki and flew towards the meteorite area, but sneered in his heart. Bansaki's wishful thinking was crackling in his mind, but he didn't know that he was the one being used. The terrain of the meteorite area is too complicated and full of dangers. If Xia Xingchen goes alone, it will not only be dangerous, but also waste a lot of time. If the eternal gods find Carlos first, then everything will be over. Bansaki has been in the Misty Sea for many years. He is familiar with the 3 routes in the meteorite area, and has rich experience. With him leading the way, Xia Xingchen can save a lot of trouble. As for what to do after finding Carlos, Xia Xingchen believes that with his peak black hole level strength, even if he is not Bansaki's opponent, it is more than enough to take Carlos away from him. Meteorite area. There are large and small meteorites all around, forming a sea with no end in sight. Bansaki carefully shuttled between the meteorites, constantly turning and bypassing the inconspicuous meteorites in front. Follow me closely. These meteorites contain deadly poison gas. Once you get close to them, they will be triggered. Even 1 milligram can be fatal. I can't save you by then. Bansaki urged. Yes. Xia Xingchen quickly quickened his pace and followed Bansaki closely. With Xia Xingchen's omniscience, he knew that the meteorites in front were very dangerous. If you get close to them, you will die. Here, it's an unfamiliar area. Bansaki pointed to the meteorites in front and ordered. I haven't been here before. Every meteorite is unknown. If you want to get through, you need not only strength, but also some luck. Well, you go ahead this time. Facing the unknown, Bansaki also felt insecure. He asked Xia Xingchen to explore the way ahead, so that he could react and escape immediately if there was any danger. This Bansaki is too despicable. Such a despicable villain is actually a senior member of the Zingi mercenary group. If the top beam is not straight, the bottom beam will be crooked. It is conceivable that the internal structure of the Zingi mercenary group has become so rotten. Fortunately, Carlos and I left Zingi in time and did not go along with them. Xia Xingchen gritted his teeth, anger rising in his eyes. What? Sea-level mercenary Luochen? You don't want to go in front? Obey the order immediately. Bansaki saw Xia Xingchen's reluctance and shouted angrily. Xia Xingchen did not refute, but walked to the front silently, exploring the meteorite area at the location, and moving forward slowly. Some meteorites contain poisonous gas. Some meteorites have abnormal radiation, and some meteorites have extremely high temperatures. It is not an easy task to find a safe path from these meteorite groups that are harboring dangers. Xia Xingchen passed through more than 30 meteorites, suddenly raised his head, and looked at a meteorite in front of him. This meteorite has a diameter of 100 meters, and it is uneven and dark on it. It looks like just an ordinary meteorite. However, Xia Xingchen felt a chill just by looking at the meteorite. There seemed to be danger beyond imagination hidden in the meteorite. What was even more terrifying was that Xia Xingchen felt that the danger was actually pointing directly at him. Why did you stop? Go. Bansaki was a little dissatisfied and scolded. Sir, there is something wrong with the meteorite ahead. Xia Xingchen's chest rose and fell violently, and he felt that he could hardly breathe. Wrong? What's wrong? This place is not far from Carlos's coordinates. Don't play tricks. Bansaki snorted coldly, and 2 tentacles emerged from his forehead, dancing in the air for a while, exploring the internal situation of the meteorite. However, he did not have as strong a sense of crisis as Xia Xingchen, and only felt that there was an ordinary meteorite ahead. "Sir, we really can't go forward. Let's retreat and find a new way again." Xia Xingchen felt very bad. "Nonsense. Stand still and wait for me to come over and take a look." Although Bansaki didn't believe Xia Xingchen's words, he saw Xia Xingchen's abnormal face and fear in his eyes, so he didn't dare to neglect it. Immediately, Bansaki condensed a shield in his right hand and a giant hammer flashing with golden light in his left hand. His whole body was covered with a layer of brown insect shell armor, and he flew towards the meteorite fully armed. Well, Bansaki was getting closer and closer to the meteorite, and he inexplicably felt extremely dangerous in his heart. Not good. This kid has a strong sixth sense, and his feeling is right. There is something wrong with this meteorite. Only 100 meters away from the meteorite, Bansaki also felt a strong sense of crisis, and he immediately prepared to retreat. However, at this moment, crack, 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 the entire meteorite was covered with fine cracks, and countless black stones fell off the meteorite. Below was a warrior wearing black armor. This warrior was 50 meters tall, with sharp horns on his head and a mouth full of fangs, which was very ferocious. A pair of eyes flashed with scarlet light, looking at Bansaki indifferently. Finally, a trial participant has come. How long has it been? 1 million years? Or 5 million years? I finally woke up again. The black armored warrior showed a smile on his face, but he was too ugly, and his smile was also extremely terrifying. There are creatures in the meteorite. What kind of creature is this? Why can't I feel the energy flow in his body? It's like a dead object without energy, but it gives me such a strong sense of crisis. Bansaki panicked immediately. He has been in the Misty Sea for a long time, nearly 100 years, but he has never heard of creatures hiding in meteorites. Bansaki knew that there were ferocious star beasts in the meteorite area. However, the star beasts only lived on the meteorites, and regarded the meteorites as their nests. The black armored warrior in front of him was the outer layer of the meteorite peeling off and emerging from it. Or the black armored warrior is the meteorite itself. You know, the Misty Sea is extremely old. It is said that it has existed since the birth of the universe. The meteorites here were also born at that time. Could it be that this black armored warrior has turned into a meteorite and has been sleeping since the beginning of the universe? Chapter 1794 Trialist. How can there be a monster hidden in a meteorite? How come I have never heard of it? Bansaki's heart sank, and his face looked very ugly. As a cosmic level strongman, Bansaki is one of the beings standing at the top of the universe. He has been in the Sea of Stars for many years, and has long forgotten what fear is. However, facing the black armored monster in the meteorite, Bansaki's heart was beating wildly, and cold sweat broke out on his forehead. Unknown monster, unknown strength. But when I face him, I feel a strong sense of crisis. I may not be its opponent, so I will retreat first. Bansaki reacted very quickly, staring at the black armored monster with a golden light emitting from his body. He was always on guard against the black armored monster's attack, but his figure retreated rapidly. The black armored monster born in the meteorite did not chase after him. He looked coldly at Bansaki, who fled in panic. His eyes revealed a hint of contempt, and his figure slowly faded and disappeared from the spot. At this moment, Bansaki had fled back to Xia Xingchen, still in shock. Seeing the black armored monster disappear, he breathed a sigh of relief. Disappeared? Xia Xingchen was startled. Has the monster left? The area near the meteorite ahead seems to be safe. If we want to move forward, we can pass by the meteorite, where the monster was born. Stupid. Bansaki looked at Xia Xingchen and shouted, "Little guy, you are too young, and have not seen the dangers of the starry sky. In my opinion, the black armored monster has not left, but is hiding nearby, waiting to ambush us. If we rush over, he will attack us immediately. It is very dangerous here. If we don't want to die, we will retreat, and find a new way." Well, Xia Xingchen fell into silence. The meteorite area is indeed full of dangers, and Bansaki is very experienced. If Xia Xingchen chooses to leave Bansaki at this moment and venture into the meteorite area by himself, even if he does not encounter the black armored monster just now, he is likely to get lost in the meteorite area, which will waste precious time. Although he doubted Bansaki's judgment, Xia Xingchen finally decided to follow Bansaki's advice, retreat for the time being, and find a new way. Hurry up. Bansaji was obviously panicked and couldn't wait to leave here. Xia Xingchen followed closely behind him. Bansaji was indeed very familiar with the meteorite area. After retreating a distance of dozens of meteorites, he stopped to re-identify the direction and chose a new road leading to Carlos's hiding place. Go this way. Bansaji's eyes turned green and his pupils split into fine dots, as many as hundreds of millions, like the compound eyes of insects. The Zerg genes in his body played a huge role. His eyes observed the surroundings, and the dangers hidden in the meteorites could not escape his observation. Soon, Bansaji led Xia Xingchen back into the depths of the meteorite area. The closest distance to Carlos was less than 1,000 meteorites. Xia Xingchen secretly rejoiced in his heart. If it weren't for Bansaji leading the way, he would never have been able to reach the depths of the meteorite area so smoothly. This time I took the right path. Bansaji was also very excited. This time the route was very smooth, as if someone had cleared away all the dangers on the road. My eyesight is still good. I found a perfect route. Bansaki was very proud. However, Xia Xingchen was flying in front of Bansaki and was suddenly startled. A strong sense of crisis surged in his heart again. The source of the sense of crisis was a seemingly ordinary meteorite in front of him. Why did it stop again? Bansaki asked. Without waiting for Xia Xingchen to answer, the meteorite began to disintegrate quickly like before, and the stones fell off and shattered, and a huge monster emerged from it. The lower body of this monster was a spider with hundreds of long hairy legs. The upper body was a beautiful woman with a proud figure and long hair. She held a huge sword burning with flames in both hands, and stared at Xia Xingchen and Bansaki coldly. A new monster appeared in the meteorite again. Bansaki's face changed suddenly. The spider woman in front of him gave him a feeling that was more terrifying than the previous black armored monster. Run. Run. Bansaki flew back immediately without any hesitation. He was flying very fast, and Xia Xingchen, driving the Faith Mech, tried his best to catch up. Just like before, the spider woman did not chase him, and her figure disappeared. What the hell? After finally escaping to the safe area, Bansaki panted and muttered, I have never encountered such monsters in the meteorite area before, even if it was an unfamiliar route. Where did they come from? Could it be? Xia Xingchen's face was uncertain. When the black armored monster was born just now, it once said a word, and Xia Xingchen remembered it clearly. Trialist. One of Bansaki, and I as a trialist recognized by the secret realm of the Misty Sea. Because some conditions are met, these monsters that have been sleeping for millions of years have awakened, Xia Xingchen guessed secretly in his heart. In fact, Xia Xingchen felt something was wrong, since he entered the Misty Sea. The strange white fog in the misty area and the long-lasting cosmic storm later seemed to be targeting Xia Xingchen, preventing him from moving forward. If one of Xia Xingchen and Bansaki is a trialist, Xia Xingchen believes that it must be himself. As for why he became a trialist, Xia Xingchen has no idea now. One thing is certain. If Xia Xingchen is a trialist, then the black armored monster and the spider woman holding a giant flaming sword are obstacles specially set up for him, just like the cosmic storm. But the problem is that the black armored monster and the spider woman are too powerful. Even Bansaki, who is a cosmic level strongman, can only flee in panic, and does not even have the courage to fight. Xia Xingchen is only a black hole level. Even if he relies on the Faith Mecha, his combat power is amazing, and he can't surpass the cosmic level. If there is really a trial set up for me in the Mist Sea, the difficulty of the trial is too high, and I can't pass it at all. Or am I thinking something wrong? Xia Xingchen fell into deep thought. Crack, crack, crack. Deep in the meteorite area, the surface of meteorites peeled off, and various monsters emerged from them. Some were black armored warriors, some were huge space beasts, and some were ferocious insects with interlaced fangs. Has a trial participant finally appeared? A man with tentacles behind him woke up, His eyes were scarlet, and he silently stared at the other end of the meteorite area, with a smile on his lips. It turned out to be a black hole level guy, so young, less than 100 years old. It really surprised me, but also very much looking forward to it. Chapter 1795, Gate of Ashes. The tentacle man smiled, and his figure slowly disappeared. The next moment, he was teleported to a dark space. In the center of the space floated a huge square, 10,000 square meters in radius and 10 kilometers thick, with golden bricks on the ground and white jade walls, extremely luxurious. On the square, figures slowly emerged. All of them were monsters born from meteorites. Finally, a trial taker is here. Hahaha, after sleeping for so long, we finally wake up. I hope this trial taker can fight for it, pass the trial, and become our new master. Old man, are you dreaming? It's been tens of thousands of years, and how many trial taker have passed the trial? But only a few of them passed the trial. Not to mention taking over the master's mantle, and becoming our new master. It's a great fortune for him to pass the trial, and become one of us. That's true. The master is such a great person. The trial he left behind is not so easy to pass. However, since a trial taker is here, we can at least wake up for a while. It's really suffocating to sleep in the meteorite all the time. The monsters talked one by one. They were very happy to be able to wake up. Alas, over the years, there have been many strong men who have ventured into the misty sea. Although they are powerful, they are not qualified. The woman with a spider body sighed, "We have only awakened this time in a million years." Yes, the trial conditions left by the master are too harsh. One of them is that the age must be under 100 years old, and the strength must be above the black hole level. Black hole level, it's nothing. But under 100 years old, it's really too harsh. Our starry sky unicorn python clan has a childhood of 3,000 years. When we were 100 years old, we were still ignorant, and just slept every day. A 10,000 meter long purple python nodded. The more talented a race is, the longer its infancy is. It is impossible to reach the black hole level at the age of 100. The master's trial conditions are set for those races with short lifespans and poor talents. These races have to work tens of millions of times harder than us to have a glimmer of hope of becoming a black hole level. But even so, it is too difficult to achieve the black hole level in 100 years and to have the strength to pass the cosmic storm in the first level of the mist zone. Therefore, there is only one qualified trialist in a million years. The tentacle man said. No matter what, we can't let this trialist go. We must let him participate in the trial. The longer his trial lasts, the longer we will have to wake up. We can't make it too difficult right from the start and kill him directly. The black armored warrior nodded. Yes, we can't let him go. We must let him participate in the trial. The other monsters also said one after another. But the current situation is not good. We clearly opened up a safe path for him, but he actually retreated. I don't know what he is thinking. Is he scared? Want to escape? The spider woman with her upper body naked bit her lip and said. Yes. I also gave way to him. But he just ran away. The black armored warrior also nodded. Didn't you tell him about the rules of the trial? The tentacle man thought for a while and suddenly asked. Of course not. He came to the misty sea. Didn't he know the rules of the trial? The spider woman's angelic face was full of surprise. The tentacle man was speechless. The misty sea was very famous in the past. Many strong people came to challenge it, hoping to pass the trial, join us, get the master's blessing, and have eternal immortality in the flesh, and coexist with the universe. But that was millions of years ago. What the captain said is true. Millions of years are just a moment for us. But for most races in the universe, it is enough for them to be born and destroyed hundreds of times. The other monsters also nodded. The question is what to do now? Send someone to tell him the rules of the trial? The spider woman asked. No. The black armored warrior shook his head repeatedly. It seems that this trial participant broke in accidentally. In other words, he has no intention of participating in the trial. If we tell him the rules of the trial, he will think it is too difficult and retreat and give up. Wouldn't we fall into a deep sleep immediately? That's right. The other monsters were at a loss for a moment. I think this way. Since he won't take the soft approach, let's use the hard approach. I will arrange a few companions to drive the trial participant to the Gate of Ashes. The tentacle man said. Good. Good. This is a good idea. The captain is worthy of being the captain. Let's do it. When he arrives at the Gate of Ashes, we will not tell him the whole story and force him to take the trial. If he passes the trial, it is his good fortune. If he dies, it is also his fate. The monsters cheered. Let's do it. The tentacle man waved his hand and his figure slowly disappeared. Meteorite area. Bansaki did not give up and chose a new route again. This time, the route chosen by Bansaki was very biased, bypassing the area where the meteorite monster appeared in a narc shape. It took a lot of detours to reach the location of Carlos. Bansaki originally thought that this route was absolutely safe and could be foolproof to find Carlos smoothly. However, Bansaki and Xia Xingchen did not go far before they encountered a new meteorite monster again. It was a terrifying monster with a lion body and a griffin head, with golden feathers on its body and silver wings. When it flew, even the space was cut. Bansaki cursed inwardly and prepared to retreat again and find a new way. Swish. However, the lion body and griffin monster did not disappear, but let out a shrill cry and rushed towards Bansaki and Xia Xingchen. The monster was extremely fast, and its claws were extremely sharp, reflecting dazzling flashes. Damn it. Get out of the way. Bansaki shouted violently, and golden light burst out from his body. A shield appeared in his hand, and a swarm of black insects poured out from the shield. Boom. The monster hit the shield, and knocked Bansaki back, flying dozens of meters away, spitting blood, and the shield in his hand was broken into several pieces. This shield is called the Heart of the Swarm. It is a black hole level secret treasure that Bansaki finally got, although it is far inferior to the universe level artifact. However, as a defensive secret treasure, its performance is already very good. The Heart of the Swarm shield has also saved Bansaki several times and helped him win the battle. He never thought that the Heart of the Swarm would be directly shattered by the impact of this monster. Bansaki looked at the scrapped shield in his hand and had no time to feel distressed. The eagle-headed monster was not injured and continued to pounce on him. What should I do? This monster is really ferocious. I can't be its opponent and can only escape alone. I'm not in the mood to care about Luo Chen now. Anyway, I was planning to kill both of them after I found Carlos. He can be used as bait to help me attract the attention of some monsters, which is also quite useful. Bansaki's eyes turned cold, and he suddenly reached out to grab the arm of the Faith Mecha and threw Xia Xingchen and the Mecha towards the monster, shouting, "You useless guy, it's time to play a role. Go and entangle it for me, even for a second." Chapter 1796, Invincible? Ignorance. Bansaki, you. Xia Xingchen was grabbed by Bansaki and thrown towards the griffin monster, and his face suddenly changed. The gap between the black hole level and the universe level is too big. Xia Xingchen faced Bansaki like a newborn baby, with no ability to resist at all, and Bansaki had almost no power to fight back in front of this griffin monster. It is conceivable how desperate Xia Xingchen was when facing the monster. I never accept my fate. Even if I know I'm not an opponent, I have to fight. Xia Xingchen watched the monster in his field of vision getting bigger and bigger, and every feather on it could be seen clearly. He gritted his teeth tightly, condensed all his mental power, and turned it into a golden faith armor. The entire faith mecha instantly looked like a god, shining brightly. A trace of panic appeared in the silver grey eyes of the griffin monster. Not good. The captain has ordered that we scare this guy and force him to go to the Ash Gate for the trial, but we must not hurt his life. He is too weak, and the airflow from my wings could kill him. An idea flashed through the mind of the griffin monster. Whoosh. Its wings shook suddenly, and it suddenly rose high. The trajectory of its flight completely violated the laws of physics. It kept changing directions in the air. Due to a refracted silver lightning, it bypassed Xia Xingchen and rushed towards Bansaki. It's deliberately avoiding me? Xia Xingchen was already determined to die and was ready to fight this monster. However, the monster's behavior surprised Xia Xingchen, and he was stunned on the spot. Damn it. Is it because Luo Chen is too weak that this monster doesn't take him seriously? It actually bypassed him and continued to rush towards me. Bansaki saw the griffin monster flying towards him again and was shocked. Escape. You can only escape. Without thinking, Bansaki condensed a blade of light in his right hand and slashed it from top to bottom in the void. A dark space crack appeared, and on the other side was a red world, which was Bansaki's private space. Bansaki's figure flashed and flew into the space. The space crack quickly closed behind him. Whoosh! The griffin monster flew over at the moment when the space crack closed, but it pounced on nothing. Humph, I'm invincible hiding in my own space. What can you do to me? Bansaki stood behind the space barrier with a sneer on his face. Bansaki, open a passage quickly, so that I can hide in it too. Xia Xingchen hurriedly transmitted the message. At this time, the space crack had just closed, so Xia Xingchen's mental power could still penetrate through some small cracks and communicate with Bansaki. After a while, when the space crack was completely closed, Bansaki's private space and Xia Xingchen's space would be two different worlds. Before becoming a celestial being, Xia Xingchen had also seen some mecha masters with space abilities who could open up independent spaces for hiding. However, the space opened up by those mecha masters with space abilities is fundamentally different from the private space opened up by the universe level. The space opened up by the space ability users is similar to Xia Xingchen's portable space. It uses spiritual energy to open up a small portable space for storing items. In the words of the scientific and technological civilization race, it is actually the space folding technology. The spiritual civilization race calls it the Sumeru mustard seed. In fact, the principle is the same, but the words are different. Xia Xingchen's portable space is not independent of the universe and has no laws of its own. However, the private space opened up by the universe level strong is different. It has its own independent laws, which are even very different from the laws of the existing universe. It is said that the most powerful universe powerhouse can even create his own universe. This is I'm the universe. Once you reach this realm, it means transcending the universe level and becoming a true god. Of course, Bansaki is still far away from the realm of I'm the universe. The private space created by Bansaki is still very small, far from the level of the universe. However, in this small space, Bansaki is the creator, the god. It is an invincible existence. Due to the existence of private space, it is difficult for cosmic level to be truly killed, and at most they are trapped. The lifespan of cosmic level is generally very long, and some have been hiding in private space for thousands of years, waiting for their enemies to lose patience and leave, and then taking the opportunity to escape. This is also the difficulty of cosmic level. Open another passage? Are you kidding? Bansaki shook his head and flatly rejected Xia Xingchen's request. If I open a passage, what if the monster takes the opportunity to break in? Besides, why should I save you? Do we know each other well? Run away. The farther the better. It's best to lure the monster away, and I'll take the opportunity to escape from here. I can't afford to waste time with a monster born in a meteorite. Bansaki, we all belong to the Star Trek mercenary group. When you encounter danger, you actually hide alone. Ignore your companions. Xia Xingchen's heart is as cold as ice at this moment, and he said angrily. Bansaji smiled coldly and looked at Xia Xingchen. Zingi? Just a mercenary organization. You want to bind me? I have never taken Zingi seriously. Get out of here. I have never had the habit of talking to the dead. Xia Xingchen had long been mentally prepared for Bansaji's character. He knew very well that Bansaji would never open a passage to let him in. It is better to ask for help from yourself than to ask for help from others. Xia Xingchen gritted his teeth. The faith mecha in at full power turned into a golden light and ventured towards the depths of the meteorite area. But the space was distorted and a figure appeared at the entrance of Bansaji's private space. It was the cold man with black tentacles all over his body. He looked at Bansaji coldly across the space barrier, and a wicked smile appeared on his handsome face. Who are you? Bansaji hid in his private space, but he still felt the endless sense of oppression coming towards him like a tidal wave. He was cold all over, his body shivered uncontrollably, his knees trembled, and he almost fell to his knees. You are not qualified to know my name. Originally, I could let you go. But I really can't stand your despicable behavior. Do you really think that no one can do anything to you if you hide behind the space barrier? The tentacle man smiled, and the tentacles on his body suddenly stabbed out. Puff, puff, puff. The tentacles directly pierced through the space barrier, wrapped around Bansuki's arms, and dragged him out of the space bit by bit. Impossible. Impossible. In my space, I'm invincible. What on earth are you? Why can you invade my space? This is the domain I created, my universe. Bansuki's face changed drastically, and his red space was stained with a layer of black mist. These black mists spread very quickly, and soon swallowed up the entire red space, and dyed his whole body black. Invincible? A mere universe level dares to say that you are invincible. This is ignorance. The tentacle man shook his head slowly, and a sharp light flashed in his eyes. Puff. Countless tentacles exerted force at the same time, tearing Bansuki into pieces, and a canopy of blood mist exploded, and blood and flesh flew everywhere. The S-class mercenary of the Star Trek mercenary group, the cosmic level strongman Bansuki, has fallen. Chapter 1797 Original Sin. Before Xia Xingchen flew far, he heard a scream from behind. He turned his head, and saw a man with countless black tentacles all over his body floating in the air. He was covered with a layer of blood mist, and looked extremely bloody and weird. On the tentacles, there were still some large pieces of broken limbs. Xia Xingchen's pupils suddenly shrank. From the armor left by the broken limbs, he could tell that it was Bansuki's body. Bansuki is dead. Xia Xingchen couldn't believe it. A cosmic level strongman, hiding in his own private space, should have been invincible. How did he die? And he died so quickly, so fast that he didn't even have time to react. Who is this tentacle man? Is he the legendary cosmic god? But even if he is a cosmic god, he looks so weird. He must be an evil god. Xia Xingchen's heart sank, and he immediately turned around and continued to flee forward at high speed. Whoosh. Golden light passed through the meteorites. Whoosh. The black tentacle man did not catch up, but the eagle monster followed closely behind Xia Xingchen, making chirps from time to time, as if protesting. Xia Xingchen was not familiar with the meteorite area, and now there were pursuers behind him, plus the death of Bansuki, which had a great impact on him. At this moment, Xia Xingchen lost his composure, and rushed around the meteorite area like a headless fly. In the center of the meteorite area, on a luxurious golden platform, a picture appeared in the air. It was Xia Xingchen driving a mecha, and fleeing in a panic. Hundreds of monsters looked up. This trialist looks very weak. Yes. He only knows how to run away. He has no courage at all. Such a weakling will be killed immediately, even if he enters a trial. It's impossible for him to pass. Yes. Look at him running for his life in a panic. It's ridiculous. Some monsters laughed, some shook their heads and sighed, and some even closed their eyes, not wanting to continue watching. Stop laughing. Anyone running for their lives will look ugly. The figure of the tentacle man appeared on the golden platform and shouted coldly. The monsters quickly shut their mouths and quietly waited for the tentacle man's order. I'll choose a few companions to stop that kid. If he runs around like this, when will he be able to escape to the ash gate? After the tentacle man gave the order, he muttered softly, "This kid is indeed very weak, and can't pass the trial. It's a pity that once he dies, we will have to sleep again. There's nothing we can do about it. Who made him so weak?" Xia Xingchen fled in the meteorite area, and his mood gradually calmed down. Just now, I was actually panicked, Xia Xingchen thought to himself. However, there was nothing he could do about it. Anyone who saw a cosmic level strongman fall in front of him would not be able to remain calm. Xia Xingchen was lucky. It didn't take him much time to gradually calm down. Even though there were pursuers behind him, the speed of this monster seems to be much slower than before. Is it tired? Xia Xingchen glanced behind him, and the eagle-headed monster was still chasing. It flew slowly, and kept a distance from Xia Xingchen. No. Xia Xingchen was shocked. It's not tired. It's deliberately keeping a certain distance from me. Xia Xingchen quietly accelerated the mecha, and then suddenly slowed down, while using the omniscience field to detect the distance between himself and the griffin monster. 114,000 meters, no more, no less. No matter how I speed up or slow down, it's the same distance, not a millimeter has changed. Xia Xingchen's heart sank. What does this mean? All of his actions are under the control of the griffin monster. It deliberately keeps a distance from him. Xia Xingchen thought of the cat playing with the mouse. After the cat catches a mouse, it will not eat it immediately, but will play with it, and then eat it, when it is tired of playing. Xia Xingchen feels like a mouse now. As the most powerful mecha master of mankind, Xia Xingchen felt extremely humiliated to be teased by a monster. Humiliation can't be helped. Who made me weak? Xia Xingchen's right hand tightly grasped the joystick, and the veins on the back of his hand bulged. In the universe, weakness is the original sin. This is true for races and individual lives. Xia Xingchen's mentality slowly changed. He had never been so eager for power, like he is now. Whoosh! The faith mech suddenly turned, drew a steep arc in the air, and entered the fork in the road. Crackling, it didn't take long for the flight before a meteorite in front began to disintegrate, and another monster appeared. Damn it. Xia Xingchen had to change direction and bypass the meteorite that gave birth to the monster. The monster did not chase him, but just blocked Xia Xingchen's way and watched him leave with cold eyes. Not long after, Xia Xingchen encountered a monster born from a meteorite again, and had to turn around. 1, 2, 3 Xia Xingchen encountered more and more monsters, and every time he could only flee, and was forced to return to the original route. My god, how many monsters are hidden in this meteorite area? If every monster has the strength to kill Bansuki, if they leave here and go to the outside universe, wouldn't the world be turned upside down? Xia Xingchen was extremely shocked. But what is the purpose of these monsters? It seems that they are not just toying with me. Xia Xingchen's heart sank, and a panoramic view appeared in his mind. Xia Xingchen's panoramic view now looked like a starry sky. Most of the area was black and shrouded in shadows. This was an area that Xia Xingchen had not explored. The area that Xia Xingchen flew over was a bright golden line. Although there were twists and turns in the middle of this bright line, it was a straight line as a whole, and it was obviously leading to somewhere. No, these monsters are not simply toying with me. They are forcing me to a certain place. Xia Xingchen's eyes lit up. Trialist. Could it be that they are forcing me to the place of trial? Xia Xingchen recalled the actions of the griffin monster just now. It seemed that it was afraid of hurting itself, and deliberately avoided the attack. The tentacle man didn't chase me. He just killed Bansuki. Could it be that they can't hurt the trialists? And Bansuki is not a trialist, so they can just kill him. Xia Xingchen thought of a possibility. The more Xia Xingchen thought about it, the more he felt that this possibility was very high. It's not a good idea to keep running away like this. Xia Xingchen's heart sank, and the faith mech suddenly stopped and stood still in midair. Huh? Why didn't you run away? The griffin monster chasing behind was stunned and subconsciously stopped, flapping its wings, not knowing whether to continue chasing. Why did he stop? Is it because his mech ran out of fuel? What kind of broken mech is it? It ran out of fuel so quickly? How did he become a black hole level? How could he make such a low level mistake? Hundreds of monsters saw this scene, and their faces were full of surprise. Chapter 1798 The 7th Legion of the Fallen. Why don't you run away? Keep running. In the end, the griffin monster slowly flew towards Xia Xingchen, with a fierce look in its eyes, and screamed, "If you don't run away, I will eat you. You keep threatening me, but you don't dare to do it directly." Xia Xingchen saw that the griffin monster did not act immediately, but used words to force herself to continue to run away. She couldn't help but feel happy. My bet was right. It really doesn't dare to kill me. Run. Keep running quickly. The griffin monster was a little anxious. Seeing that Xia Xingchen still didn't move, it opened its mouth to show its sharp teeth and shouted viciously, "With your strength, if you wanted to kill me, you would have killed me long ago. Where are you chasing me to force me to? What is your purpose? We can talk." Xia Xingchen was very calm and negotiated with the monster. "What are we going to do?" "No, I can't tell you." The monster shook his head and continued to force. "Anyway, keep going forward and you will know when you get there. You can't tell me, not because you don't want to tell me. It means that you don't have enough authority. You were sent to chase me, to do the thankless job of being a villain. Your status in your team doesn't seem to be high. Since you are not qualified to talk to me, go find your leader and let someone with authority talk to me." Xia Xingchen's attitude gradually became tougher. The griffin monster was furious and screamed, "You are so weak. Why do you point fingers in front of me? Believe it or not, I will eat you in one bite. Please." Xia Xingchen smiled. "Let me remind you that my meat is not delicious. I'm so angry. It's just a black hole level little guy. I can cut him in half with a flap of my wings. But because he is a trial taker, I can't touch him. I'm so angry." The griffin monster was very angry. White air was sprayed out of its nostrils, and the golden feathers on its body stood up on the golden platform. Hearing Xia Xingchen's words, the monsters were all surprised. This guy is a little weak, but he is quite cunning. He actually guessed that I'm a trial taker, and the golden demon eagle can't do anything to him. After all, he has grown to the black hole level before he is 100 years old. His racial talent is so weak that he can't sense any blood power. If he is not smarter, how could he live to this day? Humph, what's the use of being smart? The universe is so cruel. If you only have intelligence but no strength, you will die. However, his courage is worthy of praise. He dared to stop and negotiate when being chased by the golden demon eagle. He is very brave. The monsters talked a lot, and many of them had a new evaluation of Xia Xingchen. There were even a few monsters who nodded slightly, very satisfied with his performance at the moment. Among them was the man with black tentacles. No wonder he became a trialist. There are some tricks. He guessed that the golden demon eagle didn't have enough authority. It's not a good idea for the two of them to waste time on the way. Since this trialist won't compromise, I'll go there. The tentacle man nodded slightly. His figure twisted. The next moment, he tore through the space and came to Xia Xingchen. "Golden demon eagle, you have nothing to do here. Go back first." The tentacle man stood in the air and said lightly, "Yes, sir." The golden demon eagle, a lion-headed eagle monster, was respectful. His figure flashed and turned into a golden light and disappeared in an instant. "It's you. The one who killed Bansaki." Xia Xingchen looked at the black tentacle man, and the scene of him killing Bansaki emerged in his mind. His pupils couldn't help shrinking, and his heart was beating wildly. Just standing in front of the black tentacle man, Xia Xingchen had already tried his best. His body trembled slightly, and his forehead was covered with cold sweat. "What? You want to avenge that cosmic level companion?" The black tentacle man chuckled. "No." Xia Xingchen immediately shook his head. "Bansaki and I met by chance, and we are in a relationship of mutual benefit. I have been deceiving him. He doesn't take me seriously either. Once he achieves his goal, he will kill me to silence me. Rather than being a companion, it's better to say that we are an enemy." "Oh." The black tentacle man raised his eyebrows and smiled. "Then I helped you kill the enemy. You should thank me. Let's put things one way. It's true that Bansaki is my enemy. Your identity is unknown, but you may not be an enemy." Xia Xingchen looked at the black tentacle man. "If you want me to thank you, it's very simple. State your identity and tell me your purpose." "Ha ha ha, little guy. Are you trying to trick me? However, since I'm here to tell you the truth. Of course, as a trial taker, you have the right to know. I'm just doing my routine." The black tentacle man laughed. "As for my identity, even if I tell you, you won't have heard of it. You can call me Manla, Captain Manla. Captain Manla." Xia Xingchen bowed slightly. "I'm Xia Xingchen, a human mecha master in the Milky Way, and now a member of the Spacetime Academy." Although the black tentacle man looked evil, Xia Xingchen felt that he had no ill will towards her. The races in the universe have different life forms and appearances. Many races do not conform to human aesthetics, and even in the eyes of most humans, they can be called evil. Xia Xingchen has never judged people by appearance. Besides, Captain Manla in front of him, except for the black tentacles wrapped around his body, does not look much different from humans. He is very handsome, tall and straight, and can be called a handsome man. Member of the Spacetime Academy. No wonder. Manla's eyes glowed with silver light. "So, you have some origins with the Misty Sea." The master was also a member of the Spacetime Academy, Manla said, "but that was a long time ago." "Captain Manla, who is the master you are talking about?" Xia Xingchen asked. "Since you are a member of the Spacetime Academy, we can't continue to force you. I will tell you the truth. As for whether you decide to participate in the trial, the decision is in your hands. Mandler waved his hand. Swish. Space moved. Xia Xingchen found himself on top of a golden platform. On the platform, many monsters looked up at him. Among them were the black armored warriors Xia Xingchen had seen before, and the spider woman holding a flaming giant sword. We are the guardians of the Misty Sea. Mandler said slowly with a solemn expression. The Misty Sea is a test left by the Master, and also his tomb. The Master is one of the greatest warriors in the universe, Lord Yusaran, the leader of the 7th Legion of the Fallen. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1799, The Eternal Price. Another Fallen. Xia Xingchen's face suddenly changed, and his heart suddenly tightened. In his impression, the Spacetime Academy and the Fallen were in a hostile relationship. The Misty Sea turned out to be the tomb of the Fallen Legion leader Yusalan. The monsters around were the guardians of the tomb. Doesn't that mean that he was trapped in the enemy's base camp? Do you have any misunderstandings about the Fallen? Mandler saw that Xia Xingchen's face was different and asked in a low voice. Captain Mandler, I have nothing to hide. Most of the tasks of the Spacetime Academy are related to the Fallen. Low-level students collect and analyze information about the Fallen, and higher-level students look for traces of the Fallen. And the supervisors are responsible for fighting the Fallen, defeating and imprisoning the Fallen, and preventing the Fallen from distorting the timeline and affecting time and space. Xia Xingchen said in a deep voice. Ha ha ha. You are talking about the deserters of the Fallen Legion, right? Captain Mandler laughed. It's different. My master is the commander of the 7th Legion of the Fallen. He made great achievements in the last war and saw the dawn of the universe. Captain Yusalan. Xia Xingchen showed admiration on his face. He is a noble cosmic god, right? Cosmic god. Captain Mandler snorted coldly. In the last war, I don't know how many cosmic gods died at the hands of the master. The master is a great existence that surpasses the cosmic gods. Surpassed the cosmic gods. Xia Xingchen's body shook, and his face was full of surprise. Mandler's words had surpassed his cognition. Summer insects cannot talk about ice. Xia Xingchen didn't even know what the concept of cosmic gods was, let alone the great existence that surpassed the cosmic gods. Of course, this did not affect Xia Xingchen's respect for the commander of the Yusalan. What a pity. The master was so powerful, but he still died in battle before dawn. Before his death, the master returned to his own timeline, returned to the tomb he had prepared long ago, the Mist Sea, and left this trial. Whoever can pass the trial can inherit the master's mantle, including his rank, title, equipment, and resources in the Fallen Legion. In other words, whoever passes the trial will be the new commander of the 7th Legion of the Fallen, and will replace the master at the end of time at the end battlefield, fighting for the future of the universe. Captain Mandler became more and more excited as he spoke, his fists clenched tightly, and his body was shaking slightly. I have no plans to take part in any trial, nor do I want to become a fallen angel and participate in the final battle. Xia Xingchen said hurriedly. In fact, the purpose of my coming to the Misty Sea is to save my friend. He opened a stargate and found a cosmic level artifact in the Misty Sea. He was hunted by the enemy and is now trapped in the meteorite area. His life is in danger at any time. Cosmic level artifact? Captain Mandler smiled slightly. Those are the baits that the master deliberately scattered in the Misty Sea to attract the powerful men of the universe to snatch. They are all useless garbage. The real treasures are hidden in the master's treasure house. If you pass the trial. Captain Mandler, excuse me. You have been persuading me to take part in the trial. Do you have any selfish motives? Xia Xingchen suddenly said. This. Captain Mandler was slightly stunned, nodded and said, of course I have selfish motives, and I'm not afraid to tell you. There are trial takers in the Misty Sea, and the guardians will be activated and awakened from their slumber. The trial takers pass the trial or die in the trial. We will fall into a long slumber again. I can understand this selfishness. But the trial is very difficult. Xia Xingchen asked, what is the content, and what are the rules? Of course it is extremely difficult. Captain Manla said, the trial is divided into 4 levels of difficulty: elementary, intermediate, advanced and ultimate. Each level is more difficult than the previous one. After passing the first level, the trial takers can get the elementary qualification badge, and can freely enter and exit the Misty Sea except the core area. After passing the second level, they are eligible to receive the Master's blessing, become a member of the Guardian, obtain eternal life, and their bodies will be in harmony with the universe. In fact, we Guardians are also the ones who have participated in the trial, and passed the second level of the trial for tens of millions of years. As for the third level of advanced trial, those who pass the trial are qualified to join the Legion of the Falling Heaven, to hone themselves on the battlefield in the end, and can enter the Master's treasure house and choose a treasure. As for passing the fourth level of ultimate trial, you can inherit the Master's mantle and last wish. Become the new commander of the 7th Legion of the Fallen Heaven. You used to be the trialists. Xia Xingchen looked at Captain Manla. That's right, we were all trialists. Captain Manla's eyes shone. There are some trialists who came for the ultimate trial. All I can say is that this kind of person is too naive. The trial left by the Master is so difficult that it is unimaginable. As for me, from the beginning, I came to gain eternal life. And I have achieved my goal. Eternal. But you have lost your freedom, been trapped in the sea of mist, and often fall into a deep sleep. Xia Xingchen reminded. This is the eternal price. Although heavy, it is worth it for eternity. If it weren't for the Master, I would have died tens of millions of years ago, and my body turned into dust and drifted away. How could I stand here and talk to you? I'm already very content, said Manra. The price of eternity is the loss of freedom? Xia Xingchen shook his head slowly. He didn't want such eternity at all. Xia Xingchen wanted both eternity and freedom. If he could only choose one, Xia Xingchen would choose freedom. It was enough to be able to freely roam in the starry sky, leave endless legends, create glorious chapters, and live a life of glory. In short, trial taker Xia Xingchen. Tell me your choice. Participate in the trial, or leave. The choice is yours. Manla looked at Xia Xingchen, and said in a deep voice, I must remind you. Even the first level primary trial is incredibly difficult. Even at the cosmic level, it is difficult to pass the trial alive. You are still at the black hole level, which is too weak. You will most likely die in the trial. You are still young, so you might as well leave for the time being. The minimum requirement for the first level is 100 years old. You can come to participate in the trial before you are 100 years old. The Guardians and I will always be here waiting for you. Xia Xingchen asked, you just said that, as long as you can pass the trial, you can freely enter and exit the Misty Sea except for the core area. Yes. Manla nodded. Passing the primary trial means that you have been recognized by the Master and have the right to freely enter and explore the meteorite area and the mist area. All mechanisms are invalid, and the star beasts in the meteorite area cannot attack you. Then, my answer is to participate in the trial. Xia Xingchen said without thinking. Chapter 1800, Fire Demon Osiris. Participate in the trial. Is this kid crazy? The captain has explained the content of the trial to him clearly, but he still decided to participate in the trial? Impossible. A mere black hole level can't pass the trial, even the simplest primary trial. We have all experienced it ourselves, and know how abnormal the difficulty of the primary trial is. Hehe, after sleeping for so long, it can be a relief to see the trial participants die tragically. Little guy, just go and participate in the trial. They don't think you are optimistic about you, but I'm optimistic about you. These Guardians of the Misty Sea shouted one by one, with different attitudes, but they had one thing in common. Like Manla, they were not optimistic about Xia Xingchen and thought he could not pass the primary trial. Some Guardians even began to picture the miserable scene of Xia Xingchen's tragic death in their minds. Are you sure you want to participate in the trial? Manla looked at Xia Xingchen in surprise with an expression of disbelief, his eyes flashing with silver light. I'm sure. Xia Xingchen nodded heavily. Captain Manla, let's start. Since you've decided, I can't say anything more. Xia Xingchen, a human from the Milky Way, I wish you good luck. Manla waved his hand and tore the space to bring Xia Xingchen to the center of the meteorite area. This area was very empty, with a huge black meteorite in the middle. This is the ash gate. Mandler pointed at the meteorite. Boom. As Mandler spoke, the huge meteorite shattered, and a huge blood-colored portal appeared. A strong smell of blood came out of the portal, and a scarlet light shone out, dyeing the entire area red. The ash gate connects to a world that burned to ashes. The culprit who destroyed that world is a powerful fire demon. You need to defeat him to pass the primary trial. Mandler said. The fire demon that destroyed the world and burned it to ashes? Xia Xingchen's face changed. Fire demons are a special kind of elemental life. Its life form is similar to the Suzaku that Xia Xingchen had seen on Liang Star. It is a naturally formed pure energy life. However, no matter how terrifying the Suzaku is, it can only destroy a galaxy at best. From Xia Xingchen's current perspective, if the Suzaku born on Liang Star is in its complete form, it should be the strength of a black hole level celestial being. However, Mandler said very clearly that the flame demon and the ash gate destroyed a world. A world is a dimensional universe. The universe is plural. The original universe that was first born, after countless splits, gave birth to countless dimensional universes. These dimensional universes, attached to the original universe, are like the thin branches of a big tree. The original universe is the trunk of the big tree. The energy of the dimensional universe cannot exceed that of the original universe, and the area is much smaller. This also means that the strong in the dimensional universe are generally not as strong as the strong in the original universe. However, no matter how small the dimensional universe is, the flame demon and the ash gate is a terrifying existence that has destroyed a dimension. It is a well-deserved god of destruction. The trial of the Misty Sea is really abnormal. Xia Xingchen stuck out his tongue, licked his lips, and his body trembled slightly. Xia Xingchen, don't think I'm nagging. If you are afraid, it's not too late to give up now. Mandler reminded again. Afraid? Xia Xingchen laughed immediately, his eyes burning with fighting spirit. I'm not afraid to the point of trembling, but I'm excited to the point of trembling when I think of the upcoming fierce battle. Whoosh! The Faith Mech turned into a golden light and shot into the ash gate. The Misty Sea trial officially began. Xia Xingchen passed through the ash gate and came to the sky above a world. Thick black clouds floated in the sky, and the air was filled with a pungent smell of sulfur. The temperature of this world is extremely high, 13,000 degrees Celsius. However, Xia Xingchen has seen the high temperature of stars, so this temperature is nothing. Magma is flowing everywhere on the earth, volcanoes are constantly erupting, and fire rain is falling at any time. Within a radius of 10,000 kilometers, Xia Xingchen did not find any signs of life. Xia Xingchen has seen many planets. However, no planet is more like the hell in human legends than the world in front of him. No, it's worse than hell. Xia Xingchen's eyes swept across this ashes land full of death. In hell, at least there are demons. And in this world, besides the burning flames, there is only death. No wonder this place is called the Gate of Ashes. After everything is burned out, only cold ashes will remain in this world. Xia Xingchen frowned. Just being in this world, he felt extremely depressed and almost couldn't breathe. Whoosh! Xia Xingchen drove the Faith Mecha and flew through the sky. The omniscience field continued to explore the earth. This world is about to be burned out. The area is not large, and there is only 1 million square kilometers left. Xia Xingchen quickly flew to the border, and the red flames were slowly devouring the earth. Beyond the earth is a dark void space. The void space is filled with antimatter energy that cannot be seen nor touched, but it really exists. Whether there is life or not, as long as it is a material body, as long as it enters the void space, it will be immediately torn into pieces by antimatter energy. Even the fire demon who destroyed this world is no exception. Found it. 1 million square kilometers is not a big area. Xia Xingchen soon found a powerful life in a volcano in the center of the world. The only life form in this world. Boom. Sensing the breath of Xia Xingchen's life, the volcano began to spew out thick smoke and magma. A huge elemental creature emerged from the crater, wearing a faded ash crown on its head, and holding a red magma hammer wrapped in thick smoke and flames in its hand. An alien life. Great. My stomach has been hungry for a long time. The fire demon stared at Xia Xingchen. his voice rumbling like thunder. Since you have broken into the territory of the fire demon Osiris, what awaits you will be destruction. Die. The magma hammer in the hand of the fire demon Osiris hit Xia Xingchen hard. Boom. A flame flashed in the air, and the magma hammer reached Xia Xingchen's head. So fast. Xia Xingchen pushed the mecha joystick suddenly, and the figure of the faith mecha flashed and disappeared out of thin air, and the next moment appeared tens of thousands of kilometers away. The attack of the magma hammer missed. Cunning little bug. The fire demon Osiris frowned and shouted, "Flame barrier." The space around Xia Xingchen immediately burned with raging flames, forming a flaming ball that wrapped him in it. Black hole secrets. Xia Xingchen frowned slightly and shouted, and the spiritual energy in his mind surged out, forming a dozen black hole balls in front of the faith mecha. Go. Xia Xingchen pointed, and the black hole ball flew towards the flame, absorbing the flame energy, and instantly swallowed a gap in the flame ball. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.